Have you been to the area's premier radio-controlled hobby shop and raceway? Underground Raceway and Hobbies in Great Northern Mall has 2 indoor tracks for racing at every experience level. Don't have your own car? No problem. You can rent one from us. When you're ready to get your own, we've got an on-site hobby shop with everything you need, including all the popular brands. Underground Raceway and Hobbies has kits for land, sea, and air. Cars, boats, planes, you name it. Come see us next to Dick's in the Great Northern Mall in Clay.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MotoOption Supercross. riding for Underground RC. Number 5, Tyler Lang. From Scottsdale, Arizona, riding for Panini Motorsports, number 51, Payson Johnson. From Shawnigan Lake, Canada, riding for Panini Motorsports, number 24, Colby Eaglin. From Costa Mesa, California, riding for Phil's Ski and Snowboard, your defending Supercross champion, number 1, Braden Carter. From France, riding for Panini Motorsports, 2018 Supercross champion, and your current points leader, number 7, Alexis Leclerc. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome into round 9 of the 2022 MotoOption Supercross Series live here on Start Your Systems. My name is Kellen Brower, and I'm very excited to bring you guys the action tonight here at Daytona. The World Center of Racing plays host to the midpoint of this 2022 championship, and there are a lot of storylines in both the 450 and 250 East Championship coming into this round. Of course, this is the third round for those 250 East guys, so we'll get into their storylines as well. But this 450 class, boy, it has been great through the first half of the season. Alexis Leclerc, Braden Carter, Colby Eaglin all getting in the mix. Now Payson Johnson, also a race winner this year, and it seems like the action is just ramping up as we go on from round to round with the tension between Carter and Leclerc in this championship fight. Eaglin still trying to hang on there in third. But we'll get to all that and more as, of course, first we're going to take a look at our qualifying times here tonight, talk about the situation in the 450 and 250 classes respectively. So far, though, in qualifying, Payson Johnson has gone fastest at a 1:25.476. That's about 7/10 faster than Tyler Lang there in second. Of course, Lang is your reigning 450 national motocross champion. And Daytona, a little bit more on the motocross east side. Kind of going to suit Lang a little bit better tonight, so it'll be interesting to see if he can get in there, maybe get his first win of the season. Alexis Leclerc there in third, your reigning champion Braden Carter in fourth, and the resurgent Jack Haley in fifth. Just missed out on winning in Minneapolis a couple weeks ago, and has definitely looked very good in the last couple of weeks. Colby Eaglin there right in sixth, and yeah, all the runners on down, you can see them right there. Talk about this 250 East Championship, though. Rico de Laat out of the Netherlands goes fastest here tonight on a 129.257, so a whole second faster than Ethan Gerst there in second. Chandler Bloxham, Jaden Wilson, and Rogan McIntosh. Remember, McIntosh very close to winning the Arlington Triple Crown last week, but blew it in the last one. Could have swept all three motos, ended up going 119 and could not quite get that overall. Bryce DeVille and Tanner Rogers, Jake Kazarian, Frank Jackson, Cade Matherly, and Johnny Padani looking down the order a little bit there. Talk about the championship standings, though, and as mentioned, it is still close between Leclerc and Carter at the midpoint of this championship. 5 points in it, with Leclerc at the advantage on 156 points to 151 for Braden Carter. Colby Eaglin on 140, 16 points down, but he's still right in the mix there, and he is also looking for yet another win. He was brilliant right in the midpoint of the first half of the season, won rounds 4 and 5, I believe, or 3 and 4, and since then has kind of faded out a little bit. He's got to try to turn things around, though, as we head into the second half of this championship tonight. Basin Johnson, though, as well, he's also won a race so far now, getting the win in Minneapolis. 38 down, so a little bit out of this championship, but definitely a guy that can still contend and try to get in there for race victories. This 250 East class, though, is kind of ridiculous, and I'm not sure why they don't have points updated, but Tyron Tomic actually does come into this with your current points lead. He is right now at the top of the table, and everybody else a little bit further behind him. I think he's got a 9-point lead, if I remember correctly, so Tomic there on the 42 will be your championship leader. Not sure why they don't have it updated on the site just yet, but we'll get back in the server and talk about it, see what is going on here in the Daytona server. Looks like they're getting UIDs grabbed. In fact, they just got UIDs grabbed right now. So in the meantime, we'll go ahead and show you guys around this lovely track here tonight. Round 9 of MotoOption Supercross. Very interesting first section out of the first corner complex. This is going to be a really tricky section for guys to dial in. It's very easy to get that triple over, triple on offline wrong. You could go long, you could go short, because the run into it goes through a little gator pit and then out of it over a roller. So you actually have to kind of downside that roller cleanly to even get the triple in. But if you carry too much momentum like you just saw with me right there, it's very easy to over jump it. And then, of course, these long straightaways, always got to get right on the brakes there coming into the corners. This section, you're going to see a lot of triple on-off quad, but I'll go triple on-off, step on-off right here and kind of blow it a little bit over this kind of little anthill tunnel jump and down through this mogul section right here and go down as well, making all kinds of mistakes. But again, very long straightaways. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 corners on the track here this week. And of course, all of them are kind of split between long straightaways. Daytona always produces a very unique racetrack that we don't see almost anywhere else now, but Atlanta Motor Speedway, of course, on the schedule now, also produces a pretty similar brand of racing. Long lap times, long straightaways, using that tri-over there at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Back through the sand section across the start straight, the only time you go across the start straight. Then we got a off-camber corner here, 3 different lines. You could go middle, far inside, far outside. And then through this corner here, you're going to see guys going inside, roll, double, and then single in before the tunnel jump. Or some guys will go outside, double themselves. Over this little kind of step up under the tunnel, going to see a lot of guys go probably inside, double, triple leading into the Supercross triple right here. But as I'm talking through this lap, I'm riding very, very poorly. So here's the Supercross triple. I think it's the lone Supercross triple on the track this week. Little dragons back to this far end of the track, out of this corner, and then carrot jumps, or whatever you guys call them. Some people call them finger jumps, whatever. 6 of them in a row, and then into the lone whoop section right there. Split section in the sand right here, inside, outside, pretty much the same thing either way. You could blow through the tough blocks like I did and go outside for some reason, but you cannot go inside. It's very difficult to get over the wall. Tunnel jump leads you into a wall jump before the finish line here, and then up and over that finish line jump. And kind of interesting that there's a wall jump right before the finish line, because I've actually seen it's already possible to launch the wall jump down to the backside of the finish jump face. So I wonder, I'd be curious to see if anybody tries that for maybe a final transfer spot, or maybe trying to get a position in the main event or something like that. Definitely something that could be possible as we get racing started here tonight in MotoOption Supercross from Daytona. Let's make sure to get our moto names up, as we're going to be going with 250 Heat number 1 coming up first here in just a moment. And there we go. So 250 Heat 1 going to the gate. Shout out to Endometriosis as well for the $2 donation. Says, spreading the love. Best of luck to all the racers. Appreciate the donation, as always, Endo, and appreciate you stopping by and watching the stream. Great to have all you guys with us here tonight. A lot of people joining up, watching the broadcast here tonight. I'll actually go back to our intermission screen so you guys can actually see my lovely mug here on the screen. But still thankful to all of you that tune in. Over 300 live viewers right now. A lot of things going on in chat, so sorry if I'm missing out on a couple things. But so far, so good. Getting ready to drop the gate tonight here in Daytona, and some great racing on hand for us. Triple Crowns last week at Arlington were a lot of fun, but this traditional race at Daytona always packs a lot of drama because we see guys sometimes, sprint out to a huge early lead and then make a lot of mistakes and fall back into the pack. It happens many, many times, specifically at Daytona and sometimes Atlanta as well. So this will definitely provide a lot of interesting racing here tonight throughout the evening as we get ready for 250 Heat number 1. Of course, 250 Heat 1 will be 20 riders, going for 6 minutes plus a lap. And the top 9 riders will transfer into the main event that we'll see later on tonight. Everybody else behind them, so from 10 on back to 20, goes to a last chance qualifier. Those guys will duke it out in an LCQ for the final 4 spots to make up a 22-rider, 15-minute plus 1 lap main event for the 250 East round number 3 here tonight. And then the 450 class, kind of the same format. The heat races go off 6 minutes plus a lap. Top 9 transfer to the main event. All the runners headed to that last chance qualifier, as mentioned. LCQ made up of 22 riders going for 4 spots. Those 4 spots make up our 22-rider, 20-minute plus 1 lap main event a little bit later on in the evening for 450 main event at round 9 of MotoOption Supercross here at Daytona. All right, so we're in the server. We'll jump back into live screen here and see what is going on with all of our guys out here in this 250 East division. So Nate Brow, Tanner Rogers, Jason Stubbs, Lane Wofford, Frank Jackson, John Heilman, Braden Tharp, Jake Melton, Rogan McIntosh, Hayden Stevenson, Owen Hillman, Caden Speck, Trevin Thompson. What else we got in here? Brandon Holmes, Noah McLaughlin, Rico DeLatte. There's your fastest qualifier right there, folks. A 218 riding the number 18 machine because I think it's their EU skins here tonight. And Neil Fitzpatrick on the number 30 Pro Line Designs Honda. Going to the line here for 250 East, heat number 1 at Daytona. So get ready to get the revs up and drop the gate here in just a few moments. What's going on in chat? If I'm missing anything, I apologize. MX Bikes people watching, good to see that. Have I heard of Leighton Smales? Is that Lance Smales' kid? I believe I've heard of him, so yes. Yeah, this is a pro-only series, so this is the best MX Simulator players in the world all squaring off for a chance at glory here in MotoOption Supercross. Clicked out of the screen, my apologies there. But the 30 card goes sideways, the revs come up, and here we go. Time to race in Daytona. So our points leader, Tyron Tomic on the number 42 Connect Visual Suzuki, is in this race. He didn't get the best of start, but snuck through the inside. Looks like he's going to come out in about 4th or 5th early on, as Caden Speck to the outside is going to get around Frank Jackson and take over the race lead. Jackson going to triple onto the table off, but doesn't get it off very clean. So Speck will assume the position out front on his EVP Yamaha. Frank Jackson there in 2nd place on the number 32 machine, and there is your championship leader all the way out of Australia on the Connect Visual Suzuki, the 42 of Tyron Tomic. Tomic winning the Triple Crown last week at Arlington and taking over the championship lead with it. Looking pretty good early in the season here, but we have heard that Tomic is expected to miss some rounds, so we'll have to see how that plays out. As out front, a change for position. Speck slid out. Jackson momentarily took the lead, but Tomic now going to take it over. Let's see who comes out on top heading into this triple. Oh, Tomic got tire planted on the head and goes down. And several riders are going to go by right here. So Tomic finally gets it picked up just in time for more riders to scrub by him on the Supercross triple. And your new leader here at Daytona, Frank Jackson. Bummed I don't have his skins. I don't know who he rides for right now. So if anybody that has Frank Jackson's skins, please be sure to let him know. Put those in the forum post or send them to me on Discord so I can get them for next week, because I've noticed I haven't had his skins to this point, and I still don't have them, so I'm not sure what team he's on or what he's doing at this point. Just out here shredding, I guess. Caden Speck crosses the line in 2nd at the end of lap number 1. And semi-unique to Daytona, because we don't get to see this very often, these heat races are going to go by kind of quick because the lap times are so long. There's only going to be like 5 laps in this heat race maybe, when normally we'd get like 8 in or something like that. So it'll be over before you know it, as Caden Speck battles with Jason Stubbs on the Poop SX number 186 machine as he takes over 2nd place. They're all still chasing Frank Jackson out front through the sand rollers and then wheeling across the start straight. And this is a very tricky corner. I'm curious to see how these guys play it throughout the night. Jackson electing to go double to the far outside and then go inside. Actually able to double out of that inside line. Very unique line right there. You can see Stubbs and Specs. Specs going to go inside. Can he double out of the inside? No, he is going to do the alternate line, but he ends up kind of rolling everything. So Specs still working on Stubbs. You got McLaughlin moving up into fourth with Brandon Holmes right behind him. In fifth, McLaughlin down in the same spot that we saw Tomic go down on the first lap. And Tomic is now going to go by. He brings Tanner Rogers with him, so they're up into fifth and sixth, I believe, respectively. Indeed, that is the case. Back to seventh, Hayden Stevenson on the stance 312. Eighth for Owen Hillman, and bubble spot right now to Lane Wofford on the Boots House number 27. Wofford able to sneak away just a little bit here early in this and try to catch up to Owen Hillman. Last thing you want to do is go to the last chance qualifier, especially if you're in a transfer spot right now. You really want to either hold position or improve it if possible. Try to get that better gate selection for the main event as Wofford pulls even with Hillman over the finish line jump. They're still side by side going into this first section. You're starting to see the trickiness of this first section. They're still bar to bar, nearly touching as they almost run into each other, and Hillman finally has to concede the position coming into the corner, but he's going to almost triple on there, not quite get it. Wofford's able to scoot away finally. That's going to be a spot we see these 250 guys struggle on that triple on off. That's going to cost a transfer spot for Hillman as, Rogers was down as well, and McIntosh puts Noah McLaughlin over a berm. So actually, Hillman is in the final transfer spot now. Tanner Rogers trying to fight his way back in. McLaughlin must have went down with Rogers, and that is some of the action that we missed out on a little bit. See these guys tiptoeing to the inside line right there, trying to hook that rut as Hillman working on settling into some semblance of a pace here. Not get caught up with what Rogan McIntosh is doing. Actually might make a pass here. Well, not going to get the triple out. Tricky rhythm sections right there for these 250 guys, just a little bit long. And, that is joining the track, Lane Wofford. That allows Rogers to do the final transfer spot, and then McIntosh gets put into the corner by McLaughlin, or Wofford, actually. So Hayden Stevenson's going to go by into the final transfer spot. I'm also seeing Rico Delat, our fastest qualifier. He's also back here, just behind John Heilman, who's in 10th. So a couple of guys really hoping to have better nights thus far, trying to fight their way in. We got a minute left on the clock here. Up and over that wall jump down to the finish line. And Stevenson still holding steady here on that stance Honda. Heilman's closing in, though. It is close on that Phil Ski and Snowboard Honda. Then the I-Spec Honda of Rico Delat. It's a Honda fest in this 250 East Division. Heilman closes up. Stevenson slides out. The battle for the final transfer spot is heating up here at Daytona. Heilman swings wide, gets a drive through the sand. Let's see if he can carry that momentum, but look at that. Stevenson gets on the rear wheel, able to pull out just a little bit. And coming into this corner, Heilman switches up, goes far outside. But Stevenson got that inside line great. And Hillman's down. He's picking it up sideways in the track. He will remain in the final transfer spot, but Heilman is suddenly right there on Hillman instead. And looks like maybe did Brandon Holmes just go down? I'm trying to see. Things have changed ahead of us. No, it's still Hillman in the final transfer spot, so a couple things shifting a little further up the road, but the white flag has now waved. And off the track is Hayden Stevenson. He's rejoined, and he gets into the side of Heilman and goes down. So Stevenson down out of the far corner. That allows Heilman through into the final transfer spot. We'll come check into this battle in just a moment. Out front, though, Frank Jackson, smooth as butter, 5.5 second advantage on Tyron Tomic. And Jackson has kind of made this heat race look a little bit easier than it really is. Got out front early, put it in cruise control early as well, and has kind of taken claim to this race. Double-double to the outside still. You just have to carry that speed all the way across the start straightaway if you're going to double to the outside. I've seen a couple guys check up thinking they might go inside and then electing to jump to the outside, and it's just such a time loss. So Jackson just staying smooth and steady out front, and it's working for him. Tomic actually closing that gap down. It's down to 3.7. So Tomic made it a little bit interesting on this last lap, but not quite enough, I don't think, unless Jackson really messes up the whoops right here. Nah, he looks really good through that whoop section. So final corner and the long drive down to the finish here for Jackson. Over this single, then the big tunnel jump. And another wall jump. And finally down to the finish line. Frank Jackson takes it in 250 East Heat number 1. Tomic second, Speck third, Rogers fourth, Wofford fifth, Stubbs in sixth, Holmes seventh, Heilman now up to eighth, and Hillman is ninth, but the battle for the final transfer spot is on, and he gets put over the berm. Noah McLaughlin takes it, but it's not over yet. Here comes Rigo Delat on the 18. Let's see if one of these guys tries to send the wall jump. Delat might go for it. Oh, he's trying to get it a little bit lower, but not quite close enough. It's going to be McLaughlin by 0.3 over Delat. Chandler blocks him, ends up in 11th. Thompson, Hillman, Stevenson, Melton, Wilson, McIntosh, Fitzpatrick, Tharp, Brow, all going to the LCQ. And a bit of a surprise right here, Rogan McIntosh, who won 2 of the 3 main events at the Triple Crown last week in Arlington. Not going to make it through this heat race, so he's got to go to the LCQ. That's a bummer deal for him. We'll see if he can rebound in that LCQ. Seeing a couple people mention about the timers in the chat. We've never actually had the timer up for the heat races or the LCQs. It's only the main events that we have a timer up, so I apologize that you guys won't see it, but these races go by so fast that the timer almost isn't needed. I just tell you, every once in a while where the time is, and we go from there. All right, let's see cuts. Don't change a thing. Frank Jackson, your winner here in 250 East Heat number 1. All right, so 250 Heat 2 coming up next. Back in studio we go. Kellen Brower in the booth, bringing you guys the action here tonight at Daytona. How we doing tonight, folks? Is everybody having a good time? Hope you guys are wherever you are on this lovely earth. Maybe we got some viewers watching in Australia cheering on Tyron Tomic tonight. Looking good so far with a second in his heat race as he tries to keep that points lead heading into Detroit next week. But now we're moving on to 250 East Heat number 2, which is a lot of the same guys that we saw battling up front last week. We got Ethan Gerst up there. Several guys getting in the mix through these first 2 rounds, and it doesn't seem like anybody aside from Tomic has really figured it all out yet. Tomic is the only guy that's been on the box consecutive rounds, so these guys have got to figure it out. Got to start clicking some good finishes together, try to win this championship, especially if Tomic isn't going to be here for any length of time. All right. Let's see what I'm missing out on chat with going on here. Definitely want to see someone send the wall jump. Agreed. Be a lot of fun to see someone try it on the last lap. Jay-Z Joker says, are you going to Seattle Supercross? Yes, I am. I will not be at Daytona this weekend, but I will be at Detroit next weekend, Indy the weekend after that, and Seattle the weekend after that. And then there's a couple races in April that I still might end up at. They're up in the air right now, and I'll definitely be at Salt Lake City the final round as well. So, yeah. Live chat window isn't working. What do you mean? Am I missing something? Looks totally fine to me. It's right here. Live chat going off. Anyway, what else is going on? Oh, Liam Atkinson, Tyron's biggest fan. He's here tonight. Richards Sergis from Latvia, also here. Good to see you. Is there anybody riding from New Zealand? I think there's a couple Kiwis we got in this race. Not sure. I'll have to take a look at the flags again. So cuts, for those asking, Becca Kendall asked, it's a penalty system applied post-race for any off-track that you did. If you cut the track and gained a 1 second advantage, it applies it post-race and adds it to your total race time. So yeah, that's what cuts is. Send it. Andrew JB. Oh, I know you're one of the ESX players, of course. Do you think sending the wall is faster because of the airtime? No, I don't think it is, because you downside the finish line takeoff, so you still have to hit the landing as a wall jump as well. It's not a time saver. It's a time loss. Gonna get my forehead sign. All right. Let's jump back into the game here and get ready to drop the gate. 250E heat number 2. Cade Matherly is here, everybody's favorite sim YouTuber. It's definitely not me. It's clearly Cade Matherly. He's out here shredding on the stance Honda, treating that rhythm section like it's a whoop section. Austin Bear is here. Brett Powers, everyone else's favorite YouTuber. Donut MX himself, Reno Brennan, Bryce Whelan, Ethan Gerst, Carson West, Johnny Padani, Dalton Plessinger, Chase Blakely, Kevin Ferzaka, Tristan Powell, Jake Kazarian, Talon Zollers, Noah Viney, Elliot Person. They're all here, and they're all ready to provide some great racing here in 250 East Heat number 2. Coming up, who's going to get that all-important pole shot in this heat race? Gerst looks like he's lined up right down the inside. We know Whelan's a good starter. Who else can we look at? How about Noah Viney here on the 84 machine? He's in a good spot as well on the inside gate. 30 card goes sideways. The revs come up, and here we go again in Daytona. Oh, and Viney clips the gate, ends up wheeling, stuck there for a while. In and out of the first corner, it's Bryce Whelan. Knew we should have picked the feisty Canadian to come out front. Big crash is going on behind him as everybody gets sorted, but it's Whelan on the Phil Ski and Snowboard Honda, leading the way from Seth Carr with a huge gap behind them already. Chase Blakely moves into third early on with Dalton Plessinger up in fourth on the 888. You got Tristan Powell, Ethan Gerst. I thought he was one of the guys that went down, but it may have been his teammate there on that Panini Motorsports Yamaha. Devin Davis also has a good start here on the 31 Adept Creative Co. Yamaha. Oh, and then down goes the 139 there. Noah Viney is going to run into Tristan Powell. And more stacking up in the corner. There's Jaden Wilson, I believe, that was the Panini rider I saw go flying on the first lap of the race. Back to our lead battle, though. Whelan has not gotten away too far yet from Seth Carr. So Whelan over the Supercross triple on lap 1 to the far end of the circuit here at Daytona. Oh, Seth Carr down on the inside. So Plessinger's going to go by. There goes Chase Blakely, Devin Davis, Ethan Gerst coming into the mix. Will he lose one more spot, or will he get going right alongside the 182 of Talon Zollers? You also have Carson West on the 486. He had a little slideways in the background through the whoops. Devin Davis to the inside still, bar to bar with Ethan Gerst going into the tunnel. Gerst trying to jump over top of the 31 to get that pass done. And he'll do it into the wall jump. Everybody gets stacked up there at the end of lap 1. But Gerst able to make that pass stick on Davis, and really the field's still very tightly knit aside from a couple of the leaders skirting away. This battle right here for third is a good one to watch. Or is it for, excuse me, fourth? Yeah, Whelan out front. How about Dalton Plessinger, though? Aaron Plessinger's younger brother. Of course, get well soon to Aaron Plessinger as he heals up from that broken radius that he suffered leading into Arlington. I believe he had surgery on it. Saw some x-rays of it recently and looks like he is on the mend and getting better. Was hoping we could get AP to play some sim here a little bit of late. He told me he got a gaming PC in the offseason, but looks like he is not going to be able to hold a controller for a little bit either, so we'll wait for AP to heal up before we ask him to play sim again, I think. It looks like Blakely and his brother Plessinger there got hung up in the corner. That allows Ethan Gerst by into second place. So Gerst now into P2. Carr, after that crash, able to make it back to third a lap later. Devin Davis still right here. And really just everybody so close together. Davis going to try an inside move on Seth Carr into the sand, and he's going to go down. He's kind of blocking the lane right there, so everybody's going to have to funnel to the outside. That's a good indication of how close everybody still is right there. Davis is going to pick it up in the final transfer spot by the looks of it. Or did he just lose it? He might have just lost it there to Dalton Plessinger. He did. So Dalton Plessinger on the 888 now goes into 10th, actually. Excuse me. So Austin Bear is in the final transfer spot. Davis goes from battling for third to 11th with one fall-off crash. That's how quickly things can change. Jaden Wilson's made a good charge forward. He's going to pass Kevin Ferzaka right there, trying to tail with Cade Matherly as they work their way forward. Wilson was one of those riders down through that first rhythm section, so to come back already being a transfer spot with about 2 minutes left to go in this race. Still plenty of time to make even more passes. Blakely's going to try an inside move there on Wilson, but doesn't work out. Ends up alongside teammate Kevin Frazaka instead. Look at Frazaka inside of his teammate there. Going to make that pass. Blakely trying to come back to the outside, but nothing doing right there. So back to our race leader, Bryce Whelan, on that Phil's Honda, the 45 machine. Always a great starter. Definitely affords him the opportunity to battle out front in a lot of these heat races. But he's not even battling at this point. He's kind of in cruise control, similar to what we saw out of Frank Jackson. Doesn't have to put too much effort into what he's doing. He's got a sizable lead there on Ethan Gurst as he checks in on to lap number 4. 4 minutes and 45 seconds have been surpassed. So have a minute and 10 seconds left to go then, plus that single lap to decide 250 East heat number 1. 8.8 seconds is the gap for Whelan out front, getting on and off of that table very cleanly. See how Gurst does it. Can he get that triple on? He does as well. Seth Carr, he's got it. Carson West, got it. Cade Matherly a little short, but gets to step off. Frazaka almost through the front door and gets tailed by Jaden Wilson, so Frazaka goes down. There goes a couple more riders. He is going to lose a transfer spot right there. Devin Davis goes by, up into 9th. It was Blakely and Austin Bear who also went by as Frazaka was laying on the ground. Through those sand rollers all the way across this start straight. I'd imagine in real life those sand rollers and that sand turn before it are just going to be brutal. Deep, hard to get through, probably huge ruts in them. At least that's the hope, right, with Daytona? You don't want it to be high speed and not very technical. Daytona's kind of the 2 times this year, one of the 2 times now that these guys really have to break the mold and try different things. Not a whole lot of battling going on right here. We got a split line here between Carson West and Cade Matherly, but kind of shows you the time difference in the split. It looked like Matherly might come out ahead of West, but West able to kind of keep about maybe a full second distance between himself and Matherly. White flag is waving though, so these guys just barely missed clipping the time by the looks of it. And Bryce Whelan has got a lap left to go to make this thing happen. At least for the time being, the final transfer spot battles are really not happening here in Daytona. So it gives us a little bit more opportunity to talk about this man out front. Multi-time winner in both 250 and 450 Supercross in this game. He has been around for many years. Kind of a cagey veteran in this 250 class at this point. And good starter, but runs up front very often in both classes. So it's kind of got like a Vince Freeze vibe to him, but I guess without the takeouts. Just gets good starts, runs up front often. You don't really talk about him all that much, but he's there. And he could get the job done on any given night. Oh, almost through the front door, though. Got to be careful on those carrot jumps. He'll rejoin the track safely through the whoops. One more time, going outside to in the switchback turns. Gurst brought it all the way down to 2.3, but it's going to be like 3.5 seconds after the S-turns are sorted out. So again, it got close, kind of like we saw with Frank Jackson in the first heat race, but in the end, Bryce Whelan takes 250 East heat number 2 here at Daytona. All right, so Gurst in second, Carson West coming through third, Cade Matherly will be fourth, Seth Carr there in fifth. Jaden Wilson over the tunnel jump should be fine in sixth, Austin Bear seventh, Chase Blakely in eighth, and Devin Davis will get ninth because Kevin Frazaka is nowhere close. So Davis has got this thing quite easy. And we'll watch the 31 machine go up and over the finish line jump. Try to bust a little underflip or something. But he's got ninth on lock. I can't imagine cuts will affect anything at that point. So Kevin Frazaka, Elliott Person, Johnny Padani, Noah Viney, Reno Brennan, Talon Zollers, Jake Kazarian, Tristan Powell, Brett Powers, and Trent Adams are going to the LCQ, and it's a bit of a surprise to see this man, your round one winner, Elliott Person, going to that last chance qualifier this week. So it has been a little bit lackluster since Person won that opening round at Minneapolis for the iSpec Honda man. Last week at the Triple Crown, just things really never went his way. I believe he ended up 11th overall. And now this week, he's going to the LCQ. Definitely not the way you want to start off your night. Of course, a shout out to Bryce Whelan for getting it done in this heat race as we get ready to head to 450 heat number 2. All right, back in studio with you guys again, Kellen Brower in booth, bringing you guys the action here tonight as we get ready to drop the gate here in just a few moments. A lot of fun so far. 2 races in, 6 more to go. We got the 450 heats coming up next. And those last chance qualifiers after that, always a lot of fun in those to see who makes it in. And then our main events, which should provide quite a spectacle here tonight at Daytona. Hopefully you guys have got yourself a nice beverage or a good snack to sit back and enjoy the rest of the show. I myself have a hard lemonade I'm keeping myself hydrated with. Had beer the last couple days, so I feel like I need to switch it up tonight. How's it going, everybody? Good to see everybody in chat. Yeah, Moto Go-Go in the house. Yeah! Oh, they call it sugar sand. Got it. That Florida sugar sand. My apologies there. We got Army of Pooh Entertainment. He's stoked to catch the stream tonight. Great to have you here. Hopefully you're enjoying the show so far. Just don't catch the coof. I'm not sure what that is, but I guess you don't want to catch it. Dustin Garrett loves Payson Johnson. Deathwish 5442 says, Sup, Kellen? Well, what's up, Deathwish? How are you? Ghost 187, LOL, Donut can't catch a break. Definitely can't catch a main event yet this year either. Yeah, Donut's racing. He is here tonight. NA is super crazy, no question about it. Suprico. Cal Rides Honda loves Honda. He also loves that I wrote a CRF 150 for my MX Bikes video today. Eric Hall is eating a Wawa sub and catching the races. So I'm guessing you're Canadian, good sir. Grant's Motorsports got some ice cream. iDab Wright says, got tooth number 18 and 31 pulled today. No snacks for you. Ugh. Tough deal. What, can you have like a smoothie or maybe a milkshake or something? Mike Tarter Strawberry indeed. Got it in the Racer X. Head over to racerxbrand.com, by the way. Little sponsor plug there. Get yourself a koozie. Yeah. Richard Serga said, did you watch MXGP? Absolutely, I did. Woke up nice and early on Sunday morning. Caught the MXGP of Great Britain. That was a lot of fun to catch that one. And holy smokes, Simon Langenfelder ripping to start the year here. Ooh, bottom back molars on each side. Rough. Love seeing Tomac back out there leading the championship, says Alligator. Yeah, he's doing very well. Good to see out of Tomac. Racer at 66 says, hi, Kellen, you're kind of cool. No, Racer at, you're the cool one. Russell Watson says, let's go Cade. I'm assuming that's Cade Matherly. Doc Smith is here. Says, yo. What up, Doc Smith? How you doing? Is that the same? You're the same Doc Smith that I met at Glendale, right? Good to see you again if it's the same one. Alexander Martinez loves Braden Carter. He's stoked. Oh, Wawa is Florida. That is right. I forgot. But it's also Canada, too. I thought there's Wawas in Canada. I know there's Tim Hortons in Canada, but thought Wawa was up there as well. Cade is great, says Fezzo. We got Justice Greco says, yo, love the vid. Keep it up. Oh, I'm keeping it up all day and all night long. Think Anderson will clutch the title. Man, I don't know. I feel like I'm leaning Tomac right now, but it'd be cool to see Anderson get it done again. Either way, I just hope the championship battle's sick. So, yeah. Still stuck at the finish. Oh, I just downloaded Daytona a few minutes ago. Got a few laps down, and I have the over-under on lock for some reason. Still stuck at the finish in the triple though. Oh, okay. Daytona top E predictions. Well, my top E predictions are there will be no electric bikes out there this weekend. Jack Daniels Lemonade for Endo here tonight. Can't be cool when you're only good at reflex, but I try. That's actually the coolest. Like, honestly, people still love reflex 12 years later, so stick after it. Ethan Parks needs to make a main. Yes, he does, or else he is going to stay on the team probably forever because I need people on my sim team, and I love Ethan Parks, so it doesn't matter if he makes a main or not. Oh, yeah, big Olive Garden guy, Doc Smith. Good to have you here. And shout out to good ride for you at the Arlington Futures event. Saw you out there again. Looked solid. All right, back at it. Here we go again for 450 heat number 1. Jack Haley down the inside with Trevor Burns, Tyler Lang, Payson Johnson, and the rest of them. Here we go from Daytona. Well, Johnson with a good start, but it's from the outside, actually. Casey O'Dip on the Phil Ski and Snowboard Honda rips the Holy from the way outside. Must have just got a good jump and held it on. And he's going to come out with the early race lead. Johnson going to settle in behind him in second, but Johnson messes up the first rhythm section. He's off the side of the track trying to rejoin as coming through there, Seth Shirley on the 23 machine. Jack Haley also alongside Johnson as they go through the moguls. Haley's going to try to square off, but Johnson will assume third place. Outside versus inside. Haley trying to make that inside work, but Johnson carrying momentum. A little bit better through the straightaway. Let's see what happens. Outside versus in here. Oh, and Haley going to get past Seth Shirley, who went down. Looks like that inside is OP because Jack Haley made that pass look easy on Payson Johnson for the race lead. So Haley to the front, Johnson 2 second. Lang getting together with Jacob Hubbard under the tunnel. So Hubbard loses a few positions. He will rejoin alongside the 47 of Brandon Nygren. Trevor Burns, Seth Crotty, Casey Cochran also in the mix. Jeremy Smith, Lang, Haley, and looks like Johnson is now taking over the race lead. So Haley's trying to fight back as Johnson kind of hops through the whoops a little bit right there. Split lines right here. Let's see how it comes out. Can Haley get this inside stuck well and come up alongside Johnson into the tunnel? Not quite close enough just yet. Up and over that wall jump we go, and Haley's still trying to put the pressure on Johnson as we complete lap number 1 in Daytona. This guy's going to carry a lot of speed and then try to check up on that roller. Haley's actually pulled up alongside Johnson. I don't know if Johnson knows he's there, though. They're both trying to triple to the back, and Haley tries to get on the brakes, goes up into the Davalos bales. Smith hits him. Lang hits him. Casey Cochran stood up in the corner. Seth Crotty, nobody's got a spotter, it seems, as they all just come piling in instead of slowing down and tucking to the inside. So moving into second place now is Casey Cochran, your 250 West Championship leader, switching it up, racing the 450 here on the East Coast for Adept Creative Co. Out here running in the second position. Trying to carry that momentum through this straightaway. Looking solid early on is Cochran. Luke Sullivan, another 250 West guy, gone 450s. To the outside, trying to make a pass on Cochran for second place. So these two fought tooth and nail early for the 250 West Championship, but Sullivan has had a rough go since winning the opener at Anaheim and actually elected to race round 6 in the 450 class, so he didn't even make it through the first 6 rounds of this championship before he moved up to the 450 class. Just said done with that 250 West division, it seems. Meanwhile, Cochran's still holding that red plate, though, in the 250 West standings. Missed the main event last week at Arlington, though, in the Triple Crown. Things just really didn't fall his way in either the qualifying or the last chance qualifier. Now just trying to go straight in out of the heat races, because that is what he does. He is very good at racing. Straight up speed, not one of the best, but as he's proven time and time again this year, his race pace is pretty close to unmatched on many levels as Sullivan gets sideways on that triple in and goes down. So Shirley goes by, Crotty, Nygren, and Hubbard, by the looks of it, all went through. And Burns just not going to get by Sullivan in the end, so he'll settle into, I believe that's 7th, Burns 8th. Jack Haley in 9th, which means that Tyler Lang is outside looking in on the number 5 machine, your second fastest qualifier here tonight. T-Lang on the 5, your reigning Race Factor Gaming 450 national champion. So he should be feeling the flow here tonight at Daytona. This is a track that he would definitely gel with, knowing his skill set. Gonna try that outside line on Jack Haley. Turns to the inside line in this corner. Oh, we got a rider down. That's Hubbard. So Hubbard picking it up from a crash right there. Lang going to make a pass on Seth Shirley in the whoops. Shirley going to get going behind him, but still in a transfer spot, I believe. That should be 9th still. Yes, Seth Shirley. Like Jack Haley just got up from a crash, and Casey Cochran was also down, and coming out of the corner there was Lang, also down on the corner exit. So Hubbard's going to go by, and just not quite getting by is Dylan Copeland on the 83, or excuse me, the 63, but Lang will remount still in the final transfer spot. So a lot of guys are down in that weird switchback corner there for just a moment. Meanwhile, back to our race leader. Wow, he just missed it. 6 minutes had just passed when Johnson hit the line right there. So Johnson gets the white flag. Battle for second, hot and heavy. Sullivan, Burns, Brandon Nygren on the 47. Up and over that finish line jump. Burns able to get away a little bit. Wow, I haven't seen that line. Didn't look like it was faster at all, but meanwhile, Luke Sullivan, speaking of fast, he forgot to hit the brakes a little bit coming into that corner. Blows right off the track. Got passed by Crotty, Jack Haley, Brandon Nygren, of course, as well, but Burns retains second position. They're still quite a ways behind Payson Johnson. So Burns settles in. Looks like Haley just got around Seth Crotty. And again, the field kind of separating out a little bit in these heat races. Doesn't seem like it's staying as close as everybody was maybe hoping for in these heat races. Sullivan trying to keep it close on Seth Crotty, but go back up front to check Payson Johnson as he takes the win in 450 heat number 1. Burns looks like he'll be fine in second. Jack Haley should get third. Sullivan and Crotty bar to bar for fourth. Who's going to come out better in this one? Sullivan didn't get the corner very well. Crotty's going to pull alongside into the over-under. Sullivan charged it a little bit harder, but he jumps off the track and goes down. So Crotty able to swing by. Also going to get Burns at the line for third. So Burns ends up fourth. Cochran fifth. Hubbard will get sixth by a nose over Sullivan. Lang ends up 8th and 9th for Trevor Spencer. So outside looking in, D. Cope, Daniel Mills, Jeremy Smith, Nick Tomasunis, Brandon Nygren, Seth Shirley, Alec Horn, Aaron Rockefeller, Jay Turner, Peter Like, and your whole shot winner, Casey Oler, did not finish this race. Dang, I straight up thought Nygren was not wearing goggles there for a second. That face, you can like see right through that goggles. Look at that. Right in there, you can see like the mouth and everything. His teammate, not as easy to see through those tinted lenses there. All right, just waiting on cuts to come in. And we'll get those cuts to see whether or not Trevor Spencer is confirmed in this final spot. He should be, and he is, but a couple spots changed. It looks like Hubbard lost 2 positions to both Sullivan and Lang, and the rest stayed the same. Johnson, your big winner here in 450 heat number 1. All right, 450 heat 2 coming up next. Back in studio with myself, Kellen Brower. As we get ready to move on into the midpoint of this program. After this 450 heat is done, it's the LCQs after that, and we know how fun those can be. But of course, coming up in the second 450 heat is our 2 title rivals at the moment. Actually, all 3 of them will be in this upcoming heat. Alexis Leclerc with the championship lead, Braden Carter in second, and Colby Eagland in third, all going to be in 450 heat number 2 coming up right now. So we're going to see how they fare against each other, who comes out on top. Do know that Leclerc always gets those good starts, though, so we'll see if they can beat him over race pace instead of getting the good start to beat him into the first corner. What else is going on in chat? How's everybody doing? Saw a question as well. Nando said, any recommendations of who to watch for an intro to MX Sim settings, essentially? If you go to startyoursystems.com, because that's our website, you can search by playlist. You can search videos by playlist, and we have a whole section of MX Simulator tutorial videos about, you name it, it's probably there. Hitting ruts, braking bumps, scrubbing, what else? Starts, setups, doing setups. Got a bunch of things there. Seat bouncing, cornering, whoops. Trying to think if I'm missing anything. Just a lot of stuff. You know, ruts, leaning, setup. Like I said, everything is there, so definitely would check that out. It's a good place to see what's going on. Will I ever say your team name, Jason Stubbs? I don't know what your team name is, so apologies there if I didn't say it when you were running up front. I think you said, if it's Poop MX, I said Poop SX or Poop MX, whatever's in the name. Do you think it's possible for Sexton to rebound for the title? I personally do not. I think he's too far down in the points already. Twisted Youth Seth says, hi, Kellen. What PC do you have? I'm looking to race RF, but I don't have a good PC. So I have, gosh, it's been a while since we built the PC, so I got to remember everything. NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1080. i7 6600K, I think, is my processor. 16 gigabytes of RAM. I have a Asus, I think it's called Asus ROG Strip Z370A motherboard. So there's a couple things. It costs like about $2,000, I think, total to get the PC that I did a couple years ago. But I need to upgrade. I got some things that I want to upgrade with it. All right. What's my favorite ice cream flavor? I don't know. Like, I used to be a big mint guy. I think I would probably say like cake batter right now. I've been really into cake batter. You go to like Cold Stone Creamery or something like that, get some cake batter. Like that ice cream. It's good stuff. All right, who are we watching on the start here? Of course, Leclerc is going to be the obvious pick. I guess we should just watch him anyway, right? It's going to be inside with Carter and Eagland just to his outside. You got Adam Holm there as well, Brandon Castellaneta, and the rest of the field. Here we go with 450 heat number 2 right now at Daytona. Actually, it's Adam Holm ripping the whole shot, the Florida native. Bit of a home race here this week for Holm, and he gets out front early, but no surprise to see Leclerc scoot by into the race lead. Carter tried to tuck to the inside of the slew of Panini Motorsports Yamahas to get into second place, but they all thundered around him. So Johan Bordeaux and Colby Eagland now moving into second and third. Bordeaux lets his teammates scoot by, though, for second. And it's Panini 1, 2, 3 in the early runnings with Holm moving now into fourth. Oh, but Eagland just laid it down, entering the sand, gets together with Ethan Parks, lays it down again. Ethan Parks gets landed on by Thomas Wilcox, and everybody's going down. Got a question in chat, by the way, that I'd like to answer. You ever had an AMA Pro Rider race in your championship? Well, first of all, it's not my championship. It's ran by Race Factory Gaming. So that is the correct pronunciation of it. But yes, absolutely. There are several Pro AMA licensed riders that race in this series. I'm trying to remember if anybody in this race right now. Well, I mean, Chris Post is very fast. I don't know if he has a license, though. Don't think anybody actually in this race right now has a pro license. But Jeremy Smith, who is in the heat race before this one, is an official AMA licensed pro rider, and many others have done it as well. Leclerc, though, hits the deck. Out of the race lead he goes and hands it over to his Frenchman teammate, Johan Bordeaux. So From one Frenchman on a Panini Motorsports Yamaha to another Frenchman on a Panini Motorsports Yamaha. Bordeaux takes over the race lead, moonlighting here on the East Coast on a 450 after racing the 250 West Championship earlier this year. Bordeaux catching it through the sand, though. Trying to pull away out front. It is the defending champ, though, Carter, who's moved into second place. Was third, but of course Leclerc went down. Carter going in and out of the tunnel there. You can see Holm lurking in the background, goes a little bit long on that Supercross triple right there. There's another round where, similar to Lang, this would be a race that Holm should do well at. He's kind of an outdoor guy, so to speak. A world champion in this game in motocross. Is Carter off the track? He is. Wow, Carter down after the whoops, and he is way off the track. So he must have got the whoops very wrong, sent them flying. Back to Leclerc and Eaglin just ahead of him. So that is now your battle for 4th and 5th, respectively. Battle for 2nd still pretty close. Adam Holm dealing with the pressure from Castellaneta. Yeah, Nick Tomasunis as well, of course. Logan Leitzel, they race currently. They're both real-life pros. There's a lot of them. I don't think I can name every single one that has ever raced off the top of my head. As some of you guys had mentioned, Justin Cooper's been racing novice this year. Levi Kitchen, Jarrett Fry, a couple other guys that were racing amateur Supercross earlier this year. Oh, Leclerc down after the sand. Gonna lose a spot to Eagland, Carter, and Post. Before he finally gets going, Ethan Parks is not able to be close enough there from 8th as Caleb Hall swings through here in the final transfer spot. Carter getting around or staying ahead of, I believe, his teammate Chris Post there. Oh, dualies. Filski and Snowboard Honda guys throwing fat. Inside line for Carter, trying to make this inside line work. Gets into his teammate, though, and oh my gosh, how did he ride out of that? Kind of planted 90 degrees and 270'd out to just land perfectly straight. I've had that happen once or twice in my thousands of hours of playing sim, but just never seemed to happen to me during a race. I'd always go down in just the dumbest ways during races, but then during practice or qualifying, I'd have the stupidest saves, I guess is what you'd call them, where you thought for sure you're going down. You pretty much just put the controller down because you're like, well, I'm going to be off the bike for 10 seconds, and then you land it. Johan Bordeaux leading the way here in 450 heat number 2. Going to be kind of close to see whether or not he gets back to the flag in time. We have 45 seconds left on the clock, but that's not going to help his case, sliding out in that off camber. Holm to the inside there, jumping up and over. Castellaneta also now moving into 3rd place with Eaglin into 4th. Leclerc's back in 5th, Post is 6th. Parks now runs in 7th, but he's going to get passed right there. Carter trying to move into 7th. Going to get around Parks. Maybe, maybe not. Still close. Parks trying to fight back. Good battle between these two. Oh, Park's a little short on the carrot jumps right there. Carter getting all kinds of sideways in the whoops. What a save by the champ, though. And he's just trying to hold on for a transfer spot right now. Things are going a little bit awry here for the number 1 machine, but the white flag is waving, so he's going to try to bring it home here. Park's still in 8th, so this battle right behind him, Buttigny and Caleb Hall battling for the final transfer spot. Getting close, side by side. Buttigny loses out for the time being, but he's trying to fight back on Caleb Hall. Got a question in chat for what screen the racers see. Well, they could race in first person like this. So this is a view that if Boutigny was a first person gamer, this is how he would be gaming right now. He'd be looking like this. You can also play in third person, which is a static camera. It doesn't move around like I'm moving. It just stays right behind the riders. Boutigny goes down, so that's going to be Hall's position. But, you know, third person, it's like roughly like this far behind the rider, and it just stays kind of right behind them. I'm moving the camera myself right now, though, so it doesn't stay statically behind them. But those are the two angles that you can try to game from. But watching the race, of course, we're watching in the broadcast view here is Johan Bordeaux coming down to the line, and the Frenchman gets it done in 450 Heat 2 here at Daytona. Bordeaux, your winner in Heat 2. Eaglin crosses the line. He will end up in second. Adam Holm will be third. Castellaneta will be fourth. Chris Post fifth. Leclerc down in sixth. Ethan Park says he's out here needing to make the main event. Looks like he is about to do that right now. Caleb Hall and Matthias Janis in a dogfight to the finish line. Let's see if Carter goes for the send on the wall jump. He does. Does he get the position at the line? Oh, he falls just short. Oh, and Janis, who he hit the back of, front flips over the wall jump and gets the position. Braden Carter is going to the LCQ. I thought he was going to flip off of Janis and make it to the flag, but he doesn't get it in the end. Wow. Well, things getting a little bit spicy here early on. So Joey Van Wessel, along with Maxime Vanderbeek, Barb, Chase Donovan, Seth Garrett, and Matt Cromie all going to the LCQ, as is this man right here, Carter. That's going to be a rough one to watch. Hopefully he gets a good start in that one. Hey, Ethan Parks, he made a main event. Stoked about that. There's Leclerc. He's sixth. We'll wait for cuts to come in, but Bordeaux looks like he will be confirmed as the winner of this one. All right, cuts are in, and nothing changes inside of the top 9, which means Carter is confirmed going to the last chance qualifier. Wow. All right, well, 250 LCQ coming up next as we come back in studio. Kellen Brower in the booth, and we are at the halfway point of this program, which means that this is also the exact halfway point of the season. We're halfway through the halfway race, if that makes sense. Daytona round 9 of 17 in this championship. Right in the middle ground of this 17-round season. And halfway through the night program here. So, yeah, halfway point of the championship, really. Hopefully you guys are having a good night wherever you are so far. Great to have all the live viewers with us as we approach 10:30 on the East Coast, 7:30 on the West Coast out here. And, yeah, good to see you guys. So answer that question for P-Bow about the views that the riders can see. I'll see if any other questions come through for me or anything you guys want to discuss during this break. Always like trying to answer the questions that come up if I can. All right. Have I imagined Malcolm Stewart is going to win the title? No, I haven't, because personally I don't think he will. But, yeah, I mean, he's still in it. Definitely keeping it close through the first 8 rounds of the championship. Closer than he's ever been, that's for sure. All right, Forrest 472. Who do you think will race the World SX Championship? More U.S. riders or more European, Australian, ETC riders? Do you think it's good for the sport? I think it'll be about split. I think you're going to have a lot of like U.S., one below factory guys like Bogle, Brayton, Anstey, those type of guys go race for the World SX thing. Excuse me. And then I think you'll have a lot of the Australian guys, a lot of the European riders, Florent Richier race and stuff like that. But I don't think we're going to get the top tier American factory guys going to race this World SX Championship. I think it's good for the sport. I think it's a growth aspect of it. I would hope that the funding behind it is with good faith and stuff like that, and we don't have these Arab princes that have a lot of you know, kind of blood on their hands, spending a lot of money, but it happens. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. I'm doing good, Arachno. How are you tonight? Lane Burke says, are you going to MXON this year, Kellen? Yes, I am. I'll be at Redbud. Hopefully I'll see you guys there as well. Halfway through the 8th race, that would be the halfway point. No, because halfway through the 8th race would be 8 of 17. There's still 9 to go after that. 9 of 17, there's 8 to go after that. So halfway through the 9th race, it's like literally 9 is right in the middle of 17. Right in the middle of 9 is halfway through our night show. So yeah, we're at the halfway point of the championship. What has been your favorite race this season in real life? That's a good question. God, I don't know. I really can't think of one right now. I don't know. They've all been good. Let's just say that. Do you think Eli can get Daytona, or will Anderson take it away from him? I think Eli wins Daytona. I mean, he's so good there. It's pretty rare he doesn't win Daytona, so whenever we go there, I feel like you just have to not bet against him, but we'll see. All right, Rico Delat, one of many riders trying to make it through out of this last chance qualifier. Elliott Person, your round 1 winner. Johnny Padani also in here. Who makes it through? It's LCQ time at Daytona. Not a bad start for Delat, trying to funnel in behind everybody. Somebody cut the first corner brutally. Who was that? Oh, Elliott Person with a ridiculous first turn cut right there. But it's Noah Viney who picks up the whole shot in this one and actually has a bit of a gap working already as everybody tries to funnel in behind him. So Viney leads early on. Frzaka in second. Getting passed right now by Chandler Bloxham. So Bloxham on the 360 moves into second. Frzaka back to third, and Hayden Stevenson runs in fourth early on. Three wide across the start straight as the 46 of Robert Wilson gets in there. Trying to battle for this final transfer spot, but Stevenson is just going to hold it on. You also got the 170 of Hillman getting into the mix as Wilson gets into the back of him and goes down. A little overzealous early on there for Wilson. That'll probably cost him a chance at going to the main event tonight as Stevenson goes for the 2-3 and cases it very hard. He'll slide out in the corner right there. That's Elliott Person back there. Rogan McIntosh also in this one. Was very close to sweeping the Triple Crown last week and now trying to fight his way into the main event this week at Daytona. See that inside come back on Hillman, but he doesn't quite get the corner very good, so Elliott Person might pass him as well. McIntosh now up to fifth. They're still chasing Hayden Stevenson just ahead of him. Frzaka blocks him. Viney still the lead group. No Viney on the number 84 machine out front. Trying to pull away from the pressure behind. Out of Chandler blocks him. Going outside through this section. Blocks him pulling up a little bit closer, but Viney gets that line very clean and now has a bit of a gap working for him as well. Wow, got that 2-3 very clean as well. Bloxham did not get it. Bloxham still trying to get that Supercross triple, but jumps off the side of the track a little bit there. Looks like we lost whoever was behind them. Frzaka's dropped quite a bit of time. Hayden Stevenson, Owen Hillman, all right there, as well as many other riders still trying to fight their way in, but it's Stevenson who's in the final transfer spot right now. Oh, that's Bloxham getting up from a crash. He gets into the side of Hillman. Hillman's going to cut to the inside and take over fourth place. So Bloxham back to the drawing board. Jake Kazarian, Rico Delat, Dalton Plessinger, they're all right here. Look at everybody coming over the finish line, jump together. Stevenson and Hillman side by side. Who comes out on top in this battle? Hillman's got the inside line. Trying to make it work now. Up behind Kevin Frizaka, but remember, it is Stevenson now in the final transfer spot. Here comes Jake Kazarian with the triple on, and almost gets into the back of the 312 of Stevenson and goes off the side of the track. Rico DeLatte, Chandler blocks him, getting into the mix again. DeLatte inside, blocks him, pulls up alongside Frizaka, is going to make that pass stick. As they all tuck to the inside, he gets in the side of Stevenson. Everybody lays it over. And then it's a little bit of follow the leader through that corner right there. So resetting things, Viney leads, Hillman second, blocks him third. Stevenson side by side with Frizaka for the final transfer spot. Oh, it's getting hot and spicy here at Daytona. And these guys are still going to have another lap to go after this. DeLatte, Kazarian all getting by Stevenson, who missed a Supercross triple. Oh, and Hillman's off the side of the track in the background, so that's going to be another position gained. That will put DeLatte in the final transfer spot here. He's going to control that inside line through here. Pulling up right behind Kevin Frizaka, Jake Kazarian. He's also trying to get into the mix. Up and over that finish line jump. DeLatte's got to be careful. Almost got a little bit cross-jumped right there by Kevin Frizaka. Doesn't want to be put on the ground right here, of course. Oh, we got to ride her down. Is that... It was Bloxham. Bloxham again hitting the deck. So again, resetting things here. Viney leading out front as we're going to come to the white flag next time by. So it's currently 2 to go. Frizaka now up to second, DeLatte to third, and Kazarian to the final transfer spot in fourth. Kazarian swings wide, now going to go inside. Almost made it happen there on Frizaka. Couldn't quite get the pass done just yet. We'll go on board with him. Remember, he's in the final transfer spot right now, so tries to rush a pass and goes down. He costs himself a chance at going through the main event, which he's already qualified in if he stays here. Of course, he'd love to get around Frizaka and distance himself from this bubble spot, but also don't want to rush a silly pass and go down. As they head into the whoops. Johnny Padani's right behind these guys, as is Braden Tharp. You're going to see Padani and Tharp both almost pull up alongside Kazarian there. Now they're really going to pull up alongside of him on the tunnel jump. As the white flag waves, Kazarian goes defensively down the left side of the track here. White flag is out, so 1 to go. Somebody's going home unhappy from this group. Kazarian, Padani, and Tharp. 3-rider battle for the final transfer spot. Just a few tenths behind Kevin Frizaka. Kazarian goes for the triple on and gets it. That's going to be huge. That's going to allow him to pull alongside Frizaka and make the pass on the 74. So Tharp now moves into fifth around Padani, who I think went down on the exit of that rhythm section. And Tharp is the man still standing in the way of Frizaka's main event bid here, but now Tharp lays it down in the corner behind these guys. Stevenson goes by, but suddenly there's a gap. So Frizaka and Kazarian, so long as they just put a good little last lap here together here, they should be good to go. They're racing each other quite hard. And Noah Viney's down, the leader. The leader goes down. Stevenson's going to go by into the final transfer spot. Viney's trying to right the ship, but it's already too late. He's down in sixth behind McIntosh. So our new leader, Rico DeLatte, leads from Jake Kazarian, Frizaka, and Stevenson into the final transfer spot, but I feel like this is still about to kick off with 3 turns to go. Stevenson did not get the rhythm very well. Here comes Rogan McIntosh with a terrific drive to the outside. And through the inside, Viney almost took McIntosh out. McIntosh pulls alongside Stevenson, trying to get him into the tunnel jump. It's going to be a drag race to the flag, but McIntosh hits his rear wheel and goes down. Viney gets hung up on him, and Stevenson goes to the main event. Frizaka, Kazarian, DeLatte, and Stevenson through 3.1 seconds in the end. Viney misses out. Reno Brennan Rogan McIntosh, Dalton Plessinger, Braden Tharp, Brett Powers, Robert Wilson, Owen Hillman, Elliot Person. Your round one winner is not going to the main event here tonight at Daytona. Johnny Padani looks like he was mid-crash when he disconnected. Chandler Bloxham also going down. Neil Fitzpatrick, Tristan Powell, Jake Melton, Nate Brow, Trevin Thompson, Talon Zollers, all not going to the main event tonight. Wow. So we're waiting for a couple guys to finish up here and getting those cuts to come through. Anything change? No, our top four stays the exact same. So Stevenson able to hold on that last lap despite all the pressure. And Rico Delat, your fastest qualifier here tonight, doesn't go home early after setting that top time. He is going to the main event. He'll have 19th gate pick, but at least he is in tonight's main event. All right, 450 LCQ coming up next. Back in studio with you guys one more time. Kellen Brower in the booth as we get ready to drop the gate here for the final qualifying race of the night. It's the last chance qualifier. We've already had 4 heat races, 1 LCQ, and 1 more LCQ to go before we drop the gates for tonight's main events at round 9 of the 2022 MotoOption Supercross Championship. Good to see everybody still hanging out in chat. 450 live viewers having a good time. What was the first dirt bike game you ever played? I believe for me it was Motocross Madness. I believe, if I remember right, it was Jeremy McGrath Supercross 98, but it might have been earlier than that. I could have ended up playing like VMX Racing, which I think came out in 96. I did Jeremy McGrath Supercross 98, and then it's another game I played a ton when I was young on a PlayStation. I played VMX Racing, played Supercross the game, and then Supercross 2000, Supercross Circuit, Supercross 2001. Then I got a PC and had Motocross Madness 2. Played this game a ton that nobody ever seems to remember, but I had a lot of fun playing. It's called a Honda Silkeline GP. But it's like World Motocross game or something like that. It was a lot of fun. Then, of course, after that was MX 2002, MX Superfly. Those started hitting. But I think it all started with Jeremy McGrath Supercross 98 for me. Cool to see where all you guys are coming from here. We got people saying Excite Bike, Motocross Madness 2. Superfly, MX Superfly. That was a lot of fun. Yep. Oh, yeah. If Webb can put on a charge, can he catch up to Eli and Anderson in the points? I think he could catch one of them, but I think the chances are very low that he catches both of them. Would be my assertion with him, but we'll see. Have I heard anything about Roxon going back to MXGP next year? Honestly, the only thing I've heard is what you guys have heard from Lewis Phillips and Adam Wheeler in that MXGP podcast on Racer X. They basically say that they have heard around everywhere in the MXGP paddock that Roxon wants to come back to MXGPs. I don't know if it's for next year, the year after, or whatever, but at some point before his career is over, he wants to go race GPs again. Tim Geiser's contract is up this year, but I'd imagine Honda re-signs him, so maybe Kenny goes to the second spot there, but they would have to spend a lot of money to get Kenny to come. So I don't know. It's all very confusing. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like he wants to go. It sounds like his interest lies in showing his family, like kind of the travel aspect of it, where he grew up racing and everything like that. And I guess likely to try to go for an MXGP title. He's won 250 Supercross title, a 450 outdoor title, an MX2 World Championship, and I guess maybe end his career with an MXGP championship. He never got that elusive 450 Supercross title, and he never got an elusive 250 outdoor title in the U.S. either. But hey, maybe he just goes back to Europe and dominates for a year and calls it a career or something like that. Who knows? Got more people chiming in with what they played. Freak Style, that was a lot of fun. Supercross 2000 on the N64. Yeah, I was a PS1 guy, but N64, I also had Excite Bike 64. That was a lot of fun. MX Unleashed, McGrath 98 or VMX Racing for Jason White as well. MX's ATV Unleashed definitely was a sick game. Did I ever play MX Rider? Absolutely. I loved MX Rider. Very fun game. All right. Where is the man that we need to watch in this one? I'll find him. He's somewhere. He can't hide from me for too long. Oh, he disconnected. Yeah, 2 450 outdoor titles for Roxon, but never that 250 motocross championship or the 450 Supercross championship. Never quite got it. Either one of those over here. Because personally, I don't think Roxon wins a Supercross title. Just saying. I think that the ship has sailed a little bit there, which is sad to say, because he deserves to have one in my opinion. He's that good of a rider, but it's the way the cookie crumbles. Geyser does want to race in the U.S., but I don't think he'll make a switch this late in his career at this point. I really don't. What's up, Vicious Goose? He says, hey, Kellen, big fan of the Keats Show. Keep it up with all your racetrack stuff. Hey, I appreciate you stopping by and watching what I got going on here at Start Your Systems. Always great to see fans crossing over from what I do at Racer X and coming over here and seeing the gaming side of things. Because this is my heart and soul right here. This is where I come from, really. All right, where is Braden Carter? We've got to keep an eye on the champ. There he is. Okay. Not a bad gate pick, but he's going to need a good start. It's crunch time for the champ here at Daytona. Can he make it out of the LCQ? Here we go. Pretty good start. Going to swoop in. Going to be just behind Rockefeller through the first corner, but he'll come out pretty good if he can get this first rhythm section clean, kind of get away from all this chaos behind him. We got Seth Shirley coming down the inside. Shirley backs out of the challenge and is very nice in the end as Aaron Rockefeller leads. Carter's in second trying to quad over him. And into the lead goes Braden Carter. So he's right where he needs to be. He's just got to try to settle down and run clean and consistent laps. Make the main event. That is the only goal here. It doesn't matter where you finish. Just make the main event. Cannot be missing out on these points here tonight at Daytona. As Rockefeller gets sideways in front of Jeremy Smith. Smith kind of body slams him out of the way and moves into second place, but Rockefeller goes down, unfortunately. So Smith on the 4 moves into second. Shirley slides back to third, and rounding out our top 4 right now, Daniel Mills on the Jack Daniels Roying, as he says, but the Jack Daniels Racing Honda, he goes down. So Jay Turner on the JIBR.co number 259 KTM, going to move into the final transfer spot for the time being, but Nygren's right there. Carter's down! Carter down! Coughs up the race lead, and he's going to go back to 7th by the looks of it. Boutigny goes by. He's got to calm down. He's got to stop making the mistakes that he made in the heat race. He's going to get a huge break right there with several riders going down. I think that just gifted him 3rd. Wow. That was a huge break right there. He was about to be outside looking in and needing to make some passes, but he goes back to 3rd. So Smith leads from Seth Shirley at the end of lap 1, but Carter is the man to watch right here. So Carter, he's got to settle down, try to find a pace. Hold on to this 3rd spot at all costs. Behind him, things starting to kick off. Donovan versus Holden Coate right now for the final transfer spot. But lurking back here, you got Peter Like, you got Brandon Nygren, Aaron Rockefeller, Daniel Mills, Thomas Wilcox. Down right there is Peter Like as he gets remounted, and he and Brandon Nygren are, wow, that's just not very good for Peter Like right there. Not really good to see that kind of blocking the track maneuver, even if you're upset with whatever Nygren did. Can't be blocking the track like that. New leader, by the way. Seth Shirley goes to the front. A little bit sideways coming into that corner, but that's all right. He'll pull it together, Captain. Into the whoops and out of them. Seth Shirley looking solid. 250 West rider. Left the atom.com gas program right after the series switched to the East Coast and joined up with the Boots House Yamaha team. So still never really sure what happened there. I just think it was, maybe time for Shirley and Nygren to move on from Adam Holmes' team. But Shirley OJ's the finish and goes down. So Smith goes back into the lead. Carter to second. Donovan might get into third. It's going to be close. And he will not. Shirley gets up still in third. So Donovan remains in fourth. But now he goes down on the triple on. And that allows D-Mills through into the final transfer spot. So it's all kind of settled down here. Big gap back to fifth behind D-Mills. So if he just kind of remains calm and steady, he should be A-okay right here. And the good news for Carter ahead of these guys is that everything's kind of simmered down behind this battle as well. So he's got a gap to work with. Back into the race lead as well. He's gotten around Jeremy Smith. So Braden Carter leads again here in the LCQ. We have got 1 minute left to go. So these guys will check in one more time before time expires to get the 2-lap board essentially next time through. And now Carter at this point, he's got, let's see, all the way back to Wilcox. 9.6 would be him falling out of transfers. So if he just stays on 2 wheels, he's good to go. Just has got to ride a little bit smoother and more relaxed. Just doesn't seem like he's really gelling with Daytona. Not sure, trying to think back to last year if that was also the case with him. I don't remember if he had a bad Daytona or not when he won the title. So over the finish line jump with 20 seconds on the clock. We still have 2 laps to go here in the 450 LCQ. Jeremy Smith in second, Seth Shirley in third, and Daniel Mills in fourth. But Wilcox is coming, man. He caught D. Mills quite a bit. 28-3 to a 31 flat last time by. Thomas Wilcox is on to the move. Wilcox looking solid, trying to close this gap down. Man, he's riding so well, too. D-Mills might just be a bit of a sitting duck for this transfer position. Wilcox not really putting a foot wrong, and then the second I say that, the front end slides over that inside rut. So now he's really got to put his head down because the gap has opened back up. It was down to less than a second, out to almost 4 now, and he has only got a lap and 3 corners to try to make something happen, get back to D-Mills ahead of him. Oh, almost threw the front door into that corner right there. Into the whoops, is keeping that rear tire planted. Mills is holding this position down just fine, though. White flag is waving for Carter out front. 6 seconds back to Jeremy Smith, who's going to have some pressure soon from Seth Shirley again. 10 seconds behind Carter is Daniel Mills, and then Thomas Wilcox trying to close this gap down. We'll see if he can make it happen. 3.1 at the line. Who's down? Oh, Jeremy Smith coughs up second. No, the number 4 machine. Hitting the deck on the last lap of the race. He was in transfer spot all the way up to that point. So now he is going to need some help. He's going to have to hope that one of these guys hits the ground on the last lap of the race. Meanwhile, Carter out front looking smooth as butter. And hey, maybe a little bit of extra track time is what he needed to kind of reset his mind. He did not look good in the heat race. If he carried that same look into the main event, it would be very bad. And he did crash early on in this LCQ, but it seems like he's kind of figured out at least some level of flow on this track. Maybe he'll turn it around for the main event here in a little bit time coming. Up and over the tunnel jump one more time, though. And Carter's going to bring us down as the defending champion takes the win in the LCQ here tonight at Daytona. Seth Shirley, he'll pick up second in this LCQ. He's going to the main. D-Mills will get third, and Wilcox will get fourth. So Jeremy Smith blew it on the last lap of the race. Is he going to downside it over the finish? Ah, too far. Dakota French, he's also going home early tonight. Can he downside it over the finish? And almost. Aaron Rockefeller, can he downside it over the finish? He's not going to try. Maxime Vanderbeek, Enzo Butigny, Jay Turner, Chase Donovan, Barb, Dylan Copeland, Nick Tomasunis, Brandon Nygren, Peter Like, Alec Horn, Holden Coate, Joey Van Westel, Matt Cromie, and myself in warm-up mode. We're all not going to the main event tonight. But now I want to see if I can downside the wall jump at the finish here. A little bit long. We'll still send it. Might be a little bit long here. Nope, we nailed it. Nailed it. All right, still waiting on a couple of these guys to finish it off. Peter Like. These guys come to the flag. Let's take a look at cuts just to make sure. And indeed, everything stays the same. Carter goes to the main and whew, breathes a big sigh of relief. All right, let's get all this stuff set up here. Get our handy dandy moto timer up. And bam, back in studio with you guys. I actually want to try something real quick since I'm sitting here. I want to see if it's possible or how much speed you would need. If I can get enough time to do it, they might go away from this before I can get over there. But I want to see if you can go through this corner down here and jump from the tunnel to the downside of the wall jump before the finish. So like carry speed around the outside and then go yacht. Oh man, pretty close. How did I land that? What the heck? I actually, honestly, that's a little bit closer than I expected it would be. But I guess the problem you would deal with is that you just like nose dip like super hard off of it. Yeah, you just can't quite get there. Pretty close though. All right, what is going on in the chat that I'm missing? When Kellen greases it, but the pros don't. Definitely not better. Maybe at one time, one nice, lovely, beautiful day when the gates dropped on the first moto at the 2014 Budds Creek National. One time. But that's about it. How are you alive, good sir? Oh, man. All right, let's see. Have you imagined Eli wins the title in his first season with Yamaha? Yeah, definitely thought of it. That's crazy. It's weird because it like in one way makes the Cowie team not look great, but then Anderson's crushing it with Cowie too. So they just needed a change of pace, right? Anderson and Tomac both needed to change where they were, and it's kind of reinvigorated them. So, hey, Cooper Webb, Ken Roxon, looking at you, kid. Maybe next year. All right, let's see what else. Kenny as boss says, dude, I want to see Kellen come back for one race in sim. I don't care if he doesn't make the main, just be cool. I have entertained the idea of racing Vegas or Salt Lake City, I guess, because the first ever main event I ever made in this game, so I kind of call it my pro debut, I guess, was the 2012 Las Vegas East-West Showdown, where I got dead last. But it was my first ever pro main. So if I race the 2022 Salt Lake City finale, it's basically like a decade later, make one final comeback, you know, try to get in the night show in the 450 class, see if I even have a shot at a main event, whatever, and then wipe my hands clean and I'm done. I'm not racing pro and sim again. I've said I'm not racing pro and sim again for like 8 years and always seem to come back at least once. But I have thought about trying to try hard for the next like month and a half and get good enough to try to race Salt Lake City. Thought about it. Not saying it's going to happen, but I've thought about it. Is there a rumor that Webb is going to Honda? I don't think Webb goes to Honda. If anything, the rumor that we have been sort of hearing is that Star wants him again, but we'll see. Who knows? Who do you think will come out on top, Jet Lawrence or Christian Craig? Well, they both can because they're opposite coasts.
Well, they both can because they're opposite coasts. Well, they both can because they're opposite coasts. Well, they both can because they're opposite coasts. Well, they both can because they're opposite coasts. Well, they both can because they're opposite coasts. Well, they both can because they're opposite coasts. Well, they both can because they're opposite coasts. Well, they both can because they're opposite coasts. Well, they both can because they're opposite coasts. Well, they both can because they're opposite coasts. Well, they both can because they're opposite coasts. Well, they both can because they're opposite coasts. Well, they both can because they're opposite coasts. Well, they both can because they're opposite coasts. Well, they both can because they're opposite coasts. Well, they both can because they're opposite coasts. Well, they both can because they're opposite coasts. Well, they both can because they're opposite coasts. Well, they both can because they're opposite coasts. Well, they both can because they're opposite coasts. Well, they both can because they're opposite coasts.
Why don't I just race AMS 450? Because I am not around Sundays. See, I kind of cover these races in real life, and I'm literally on a plane on Sunday most of the time, so can't really be around to race these sim races on Sunday. All right, main event time, people. Let's get back in it and get ready to drop the gate in Daytona. Oh man, unfortunately everybody tuning in, Deegan already raced. Yeah, he raced like 4 months ago. Is that when Minios was at this point? I guess so, right? 4 months ago? Monster Cup in MX Sim or Red Bull Straight Rhythm? I always personally preferred the MX Sim Cup to the Straight Rhythm event that we had in Sim every year. But both were fun, so either one. Oh, for the East West Showdown? I don't know. Chaos. We'll just say chaos. How about that? All right, folks. Time for round 3 of this 250 East Championship in MX Simulator. Who is going to get that all-important hole shot? Can Tomic come out on top again? Here we go in Daytona. Your points leader got shuffled back. I think the hole shot man may have been the Suzuki on the outside, but he goes down right away. Bryce Whelan leads early on. It's the 41 of Spec trying to take it from him into the second corner. Spec into the lead here at Daytona. Whelan settles in behind him. You got the 49 of Tanner Rogers out front. Tomic in 4th, Gerst in 5th. We got a lot of heavy hitters out front. This is going to be a good race if everybody stays on 2 wheels. So Spec. Tomic now into 2nd. Whelan must have went down. West up to 3rd. Gerst 4th. Stevenson 5th. Rogers back to 6th. So Whelan definitely went down in that corner. We totally missed it off screen. But Spec is leading them around. A little bit of a gap there on Tomic. Boy, Tyron Tomic, we heard that he may be missing some rounds in this championship. Don't know how many or when, but got to start maybe rethinking that because he has been rock solid at getting good starts and running up front. This is the 5th gate drop he's taken with everybody, if you include the 3 Triple Crown races. And every single time he seems to end up at the sharp end of the field early on. And that has given him the points lead here in the early runnings. And now the race lead. We have lost Caden Spec. Where did he go down? Went down somewhere. He is way back here. So he's coughed up the race lead. And your new leader at the end of lap number 1 is going to be Tomic, or will it be? Gerst is pulling up alongside of him. Tomic leads lap number 1. Gerst on the 29 moves into 2nd. Oh, Gerst almost through the front door. Neither rider having a good run through here, nor did Carson West in the background. Tomic trying to take it back. Gerst going to square off. Neither one of them tripling in. Step on, step off, and carrying the speed down the back straightaway. Looked like maybe Matherly behind them, who tried to triple in and got it wrong. Goes down out of 3rd. But your championship leader leads the way early in Daytona. Can he hold on to this? He's got a lot of time left on that clock, though. Only 2.5 minutes down thus far. Gerst settles into 2nd for Zach at 3rd. It was Stevenson that I saw in the background, got sideways in 4th. Spec, Whelan, Wofford, Wilson, Heilman, Matherly, Holmes, McLaughlin, all nose to tail right here. We'll go on board with Cade Matherly, I think right here would be a good one to go on board with because he is right behind this chaos. Look at everybody so close together. Heilman right there on the 44 just ahead of him. Matherly going for the 2-3, gets a little short. Jaden Wilson also got it wrong. Jumping off the left side of the track there, that's Heilman. And going down, that's for Zaka. Trying to see who's ahead of this now. That's Whelan that's just in front of these guys. Matherly pulling up alongside of Heilman. You got Wofford. Matherly going to go outside as Sanaki put on the ground there by Heilman, who went inside. So Heilman's going to appear just to the right of the screen right there after they come out of the split. You got Whelan. Boy, it is close. Just in front of him there on the 45 on the Honda, the 27 on the left side of your screen. That's Wofford. Up and over the finish line jump. Hayden Stevenson just ahead of these guys. Our 2 leaders are breaking away, but this battle back here is insane. And it looks like Caden Speck might be at the front of this group in third. A little bit of contact there between Wofford and Stevenson puts Stevenson off the track. He rejoins. We're nearly 4 wide on the straightaway here ahead of Matherly as they go over this tunnel jump. And Whelan trying to settle it down behind these guys. Doesn't want to get caught up in any of the melee. Matherly actually gets bumped into a little bit there. Left side of your screen. Couldn't see who that was as a Husky rider, though. Matherly going to go outside to defend. And this action is insane. So this is what it's like to battle it out in MotoOption Supercross, folks. Matherly double to the outside. Trying to get that line clean, but Whelan holds steady. Now goes inside. Might be, it's Brandon Holmes right behind Matherly that we're seeing on that Husky stick his nose in there every once in a while. Oh, Triley's over the Supercross triple. Man, what is going to break first? These guys are so close together. Matherly goes inside this time, following Heilman through on the right side of the track. These guys will come out just alongside of that grouping again, and I think Holmes got up alongside Matherly. Matherly got the exit of the corner a little bit wrong. Oh, it's actually Jaden Wilson on the 25. So again, we check in, and this group is still absolutely nose to tail. We'll go outside of Matherly and kind of watch this battle continue to rage on as Gerst leads the way now from Tomic by the looks of it. So Ethan Gerst into the race lead. Heilman goes down. So there's the first man to really hit the deck in this group. Stevenson with that pressure there from Bryce Whelan. Still the front man in this pack. But if we go to the lead, it's Gerst now from Tomic. Speck was able to kind of break away from Stevenson. Stevenson dealing with the pressure from Bryce Whelan, the 25 there of Jaden Wilson as well. Ooh, Speck ending up going the wrong way a little bit there for a moment. And now Tomic lays it down, so he'll slip back to this battle. Stevenson going to shoot through into third, cross jump a little bit. Contact between Tomic and Whelan. With Jaden Wilson right behind these guys. You also have Matherly still at the back of this group. Dualies, Trileys again over that Supercross triple. Ooh, Tomic lays it down a little bit. Not going to get a great drive for this section. Can he still go 2-3? Yes, just stretched it out. Oh, this racing in this 250 class is insane right now. Look at how close it still is. Stevenson trying to defend the inside. Outside, Jaden Wilson got a run, but Tomic went to defend. Caden Speck just messed up the tunnel jump, so he's going to be right ahead of these guys again. So Gerst has a huge lead, but the battle for second is ridiculous. Caden Speck, Hayden Stevenson nearly side by side. Tomic, you got Jaden Wilson, you got Matherly back there. Looks like Wilson just made a mistake. Matherly trying to jump over top of him. Gonna make that pass stick. 45 of Whelan down the inside. Matherly goes down. Wilson scoots by. Brandon Holmes, Lane Wofford, Frank Jackson all in the mix. Gerst looks like he just went down or off the track or something as the battle for third goes on. Tomic gonna get around Stevenson. Trying to tail after Caden Speck ahead of him. Uh-oh, Tomic disappeared. Internet issues for the Australian. Hopefully this is not a lag out of the server. Oh my goodness, this would be brutal for Tomic. Oh no, he's back. Okay, he's back. Shows him 15th, but timing gates will have to catch up. Looks like he's dealing with quite a bit of lag suddenly. Meanwhile, Gerst suddenly under attack for the race lead. Caden Speck has caught him, and Speck messes up the corner. Tomic right behind these guys as he's trying to catch up with the timing gates. He's still third. Whelan side by side with Frank Jackson for fourth over the triple dualies again. Looks like Jackson's going to get that spot. Tomic's timing gates are starting to reset, so he's just ahead of these guys. You got Heilman sixth. Wofford, Stevenson, Wilson, then Matherly. Getting passed by the 132 there of Jake Kazari and Tanner Rogers down the inside trying to get back by these guys. Through the middle, almost collecting there was Noah McLaughlin on the 124. Gosh, the action is everywhere. I don't really know what to watch. Let's keep an eye on the leaders because Gerst has kind of thrown away a pretty big lead. Tomic and Gerst both were pretty far gone moments ago, and it has come down a lot. Now we're looking at 6.5 minutes or so, plus that single lap left to go. Oh, Gerst down with the lead. Speck to the front. Tomic just through on the outside. Whelan goes by. Jackson through. Heilman goes through. So Gerst back to 6th from the race lead. And then off the side of the track to the outside, Caden Speck went down the next turn. So Tomic, who looked like he was lagging out of the server a lap ago, is leading here again in Daytona, but he's making mistakes. Whelan making a mistake. He blows the corner. Frank Jackson sliding through, trying to win his first career main event now as he moves into 2nd place. Heilman, Gerst, Whelan still tailing these guys. Speck and Jaden Wilson just behind them. Kazarian almost through the front door and down. Matherly's going to go by. Lane Wofford goes through. And going through as well, that's Tanner Rogers. There goes Stevenson. And Kazarian tried to jump over top, but it looks like for Zach, who was also going to go by there. Gosh, so tough to follow. All right, let's reset and do a lap time check here. 35.4 last time through Tomic, 2-second lead. 33.8 for Frank Jackson. 34.3 Heilman. 36.7 Whelan. 42.7 for Gerst. 31.5 Jaden Wilson resets his personal best. 45.2 Caden Speck had a rough lap. 33.8 for Cade Matherly. 44.4 out of Lane Wofford. And a 39.2 out of Tanner Rogers. So Jaden Wilson, fastest rider on the track right now. Bryce Whelan just made a mistake. Here comes Heilman to try to get around the Canadian. Couple teammates on that Phil's Honda program. Ooh, and then Heilman kind of stands it up in the corner a little bit right there. But that is for 3rd. And any one of these guys, it is still plenty for them to have opportunities to win this race. Tomic is not gone, and everyone behind him is pretty much sniffing blood in the water. I think the only person in this group that has already won a race is Whelan, and he just went down. So Wilson, Gerst, Heilman, and Jackson all looking for their first career 250 Supercross race victories. Tyron Tomic just got his first victory last week. So how cool would it be if we have back-to-back first-time winners this year? We'll go on board with Jaden Wilson as he's at the tail end of this train behind teammate Ethan Gerst. Outside to inside, trying to get alongside of him. He actually is going to get side-by-side with him into the tunnel. Wilson trying to low line off the tunnel jump. There's still bar-to-bar as they come over the finish line jump. Wilson's going to try to get that power down. Gerst got the landing a little bit better. Who comes out on top? Wilson looks like he finally has a nose. And triples clean. Gerst is going down. Oh, and hit hard too. All right, so the lead battle starting to separate finally just a little bit. Top 4 have broken away. Frank Jackson, into the back of Tomic and goes down. Heilman gets hung up and goes high center in the berm. So everybody came to pretty much a dead stop, including Jaden Wilson. Tomic suddenly has a bit of a gap to work with. And that could have been huge. It seems like we caught Tomic just as he was recovering from a mistake at the end of the moguls. And as he cut down in the corner, he caught Frank Jackson's front tire that put the 32 machine on the ground. And now Tomic has a nice gap to work with. We go back to Wilson in 2nd. Not too far behind him, though. Heilman and Jackson still right there. Heilman doesn't get that section very clean. Jackson also elects to go 2-2 single into the triple. Six-second lead now for Tyron Tomic as they go down back straightaway into the whoop section here. And Frank Jackson going to make the pass on John Heilman to move into 3rd place. Jaden Wilson suddenly looking like he might be a little bit frisky for this race victory. 134.6 last time by, but he has been putting down 131s. And Tomic out front doing a 36.9. This track is breaking down, and it looks like it's catching these guys out a little bit. So we'll stick on board with Wilson here for a second and see maybe where he's gaining this time. He's tripling on very smoothly right there, down to 2.5. Looks like just little bits here and there. Oh, he OJs and goes off the bike. OJ's the tunnel jump and an instant fall-off crash, landing too hard. Oh, that's going to frustrate him, as you can see, humping the bike furiously as he gets up. Now still in 4th, just ahead of Bryce Whelan. Gerst and Matherly now checking behind him. We also got a close battle between Caden Speck, Tanner Rogers, and Lane Wofford. Speck goes wide and gets caught in the Davalos bales. Those guys are able to sneak on by. Matherly sneaking up here on Gerst, trying to make a pass on the 29 machine, and he'll do it. Nice outside move by the Stance Honda man. And then gets that double from the inside rather cleanly as well. Cade Matherly looking a little bit fresh here late in this one. We only have a minute left on the clock before time expires, so this time through should be 2 to go. So now the burden of trying to catch Tyron Tomich lies on the shoulders of Frank Jackson. Whoa, getting a little sideways there, having to just kind of crossing over, but then backed out of the challenge. All right, 2 to go. 30 seconds left on the clock, so it will expire this time through. And next time those guys see the finish line jump, the white flag will be waving. Tyron Tomich looking for his 2nd consecutive race victory. It will be his first ever just straight up main event win, of course. Last week was a Triple Crown, and he did win one of the 3 races, but he did not obviously win an actual main event. He won the overall on the night. This one will feel maybe a little bit sweeter to actually get that main event victory knocked off. So he's just trying to tiptoe it in and out of these ruts, not push the envelope too hard. Jackson, of course, probably throwing a little bit more caution to the wind, trying to close this gap down. And you can see, boy, the braking bumps into the corners are also getting very big. Jackson almost went down right there. And the gaps behind these guys have also opened up a little bit. Well, Jaden Wilson's actually right there on Frank Jackson for 2nd. So the 25 Panini Motorsports riders trying to close back in again. Here we go into the whoops. Got a great drive to the outside of Jackson. They're going to split lines in the split. Who comes out on top? Jackson leads them in. And Wilson leads them out. Jaden Wilson with a nice move to take over 2nd place. Meanwhile, Tomich takes the white flag just ahead of these guys. Gap is at 4.2, a 130.2. I believe that is the new fastest lap of the race out of Jaden Wilson. He is trying. Jaden Wilson wants desperately to win this main event, but a 4-second gap to overcome as Frank Jackson tries to fight back here on the inside. Gonna get the pass done again. So Wilson has to fight back against Jackson before he can even think about Tomich. Oh, Jackson high centers the rut and goes up to the top of the berm. He's stuck in the Davalos bales. Got a little sideways. All right, now half a lap to go. The pressure firmly mounted on Tyron Tomich's shoulders. He has got to be perfect. Jaden Wilson is still lurking back there in the background. One small slide out or little mistake, and suddenly Wilson will be knocking on the door of opportunity to try to win this main event. Tomich swings wide to triple in and gets it clean. Very nicely done. I think it's going to come down to the whoops. If he can get through this carrot jump section in the whoops, he'll be good to go with that 3.9 second lead. Triples in. Triples again. Oh! He cases and goes down! He cased the ending of the triple. Jaden Wilson's going to come by to take the race lead on the last lap of the race. Oh my goodness, Tyron Tomich. What a throwaway of a race win. He's going to be absolutely devastated. Meanwhile, on the flip side of the coin, the absolute elation. Jaden Wilson comes home, and it's going to be Jaden Wilson winning the Daytona Supercross in MX Simulator. Unbelievable finish. Tomich with a 2nd place finish will retain the points lead. Heilman just gets Rogers to the line for 3rd. And Jackson will round out our top 5. Wofford, Whelan, Matherly, Gerst. And it looks like Speck will round out the top 10. I cannot believe that finish. Tyron Tomich casing the 2nd triple, instant high side to crash, and it cost him a race victory here in Daytona. Wow. McLaughlin coming to the flag. He will take 11th in this late race soiree. Verzaka moves up to 12th. Kazarian 13th, Rico to lap 14th, Stevenson 15th. Drag race to the flag. Seth Carr puts Chase Blakely on the ground. He'll still end up 17th. Brandon Holmes should get 18th here. Carson West, Devin Davis 20th, Austin Bear 21st, and Jason Stubbs did not finish this race. Wow. That is insane. I kind of can't believe that just happened. But hey, if you look at it on merit, Jaden Wilson was the fastest rider here tonight. Fastest lap of the race at a 1:30.2 on lap 10. These guys went 11 laps tonight in this main event. Unbelievable. All right, cuts are about to come in. And wow, it ended up a little bit closer. 2.71 seconds of cuts for Jaden Wilson, but he does hold on to the win. Tomic comes home second. And leapfrogging Heilman to get third tonight. Tanner Rogers takes home a podium in Daytona. Wow. I don't know how we're going to top that 250 main. That was one of the best races we've had all season long. And the 450 main's coming up next, so catch the fever. We had I think we had at one point over 500 live viewers watching that 250 race. That was incredible. But yeah, don't go anywhere just yet, folks, because we still have one race left to go. And it's the big guns, the 450 main event coming up next here, live on Start Your Systems at Daytona. Crazy, crazy ending. All right. How is chat holding up? How we doing, folks? Lachlan Smith is ready for Alexis Leclerc. A person something says it's very exciting indeed. Yeah, Cade didn't do too bad. I think, what did he end up, 6th in the end? Was right in the mix all the way through. I mean, gosh, that top 10 was never more than, what, 15, 20 seconds apart from each other? Crazy, crazy close. $5.11 right now? Sweet. All right. Sipping on a Mike's Hard, but we're out. Empty. Got to get another freshie. Oh, look at that. My wife just walked in. Fantastic. I ask her, and she brings me one. Best wife ever. No, I'm good. Thanks. Cheers, folks. All right, are we ready to drop the game in this 450 main event or what? Incredible night of racing so far. 250 main event really brought the goods. Hopefully the 450 keeps on providing that action for us. Leclerc, Carter, Eagland. Payson Johnson won his heat race tonight. Oh, man, who's going to get it done here tonight at Daytona? Take a look at our starting lineup here tonight. Payson Johnson, Braden Carter, Tyler Lang, Caleb Hall, Seth Shirley. Ooh, Trevor Burns on a 2-stroke. Adam Holm, Trevor Spencer, Thomas Wilcox, Ethan Parks, Braden Castellaneta, Chris Post, Colby Eagland, Daniel Mills, Matthias Janis, Casey Cochran, Jacob Hubbard, Luke Sullivan, Seth Crotty, Alexis Leclerc, Jack Haley, and your 450 Heat 2 winner, Johan Bordeaux. Makes up your 22 rider field. Getting ready to drop the gate here tonight for the main event from Daytona. Yeah, P-Bow, I've brought this up before, but in regards to podium interviews, the reason why I don't do them is because these 450 guys would mostly be okay because I know most of them. But anybody I've never talked to before, I don't know how they're going to act on stream. And it just takes one person saying the wrong word for me to get flagged and, you know, start losing monetization and stuff like that. So I got to be careful. I can't bring people onto the stream that I don't trust. So for that reason, we don't do any post-race interviews. All right, here we go. Who's ready for this main event? Payson Johnson down the far inside. Who are we going to watch here? Adam Holm maybe in the middle. Here we go from the World Center Racing. It's the Daytona Supercross and MX Simulator. And we picked the right person to watch. He hole shot his heat race. He hole shots the main. Adam Holm with the RaceFactorGaming.com hole shot award leads him through on the first straightaway here. He's going to get this triple into the corner. Johnson going to pass his teammate Eaglin to get in a second. I think Leclerc may have gone down. I'm trying to see if I can see the 7 picking himself up there in the background. Not sure if I saw him just yet, but he might be buried. Holm leads the way. Johnson in second. Eaglin third. The two-stroke of Trevor Burns finds his way in fourth early on. And rounding out our top 5, Johan Bordeaux. So Carter's 7th after that LCQ. Getting a good start here in this one. Actually losing spots now, though. I wonder if he just went down, trying to see where Leclerc ended up. All right, so Holm checking in out front, leading the way. Johnson sticking close. Ooh, Lang 16th, Carter 18th. These guys buried. Haley's down in 20th. And Leclerc is 21st. Oh, so our heavy hitters are completely buried as Johnson slides out of the corner. Gonna allow Bordeaux and Eaglin through. This is a huge, huge opportunity for the points for Colby Eaglin right now. And Adam Holm just went off the track after the whoop, so Colby Eaglin has taken over the race lead in Daytona. Boy, Leclerc and Carter are serving up points on a silver platter, and Colby Eaglin better grab his fork and knife and start eating it if he wants to stay in this title fight moving into the second half of this championship. So Eaglin leads. Bordeaux moves into second, and Bordeaux has looked great here tonight as he closes right up behind his teammate. 3 Panini Motorsport Yamaha riders. 1, 2, and 3 is Eaglin almost through the front door on the quad. Bordeaux now under attack. Here comes Payson Johnson trying to get a nose perhaps down the inside. Nice move in the end by Johnson. Very clean with his teammate. All right, so through these sand rollers. Eaglin, Johnson, Bordeaux, top 3. We'll see if Johnson can maybe get up to Eaglin's rear tire here in a hurry. Make something happen. Going inside 2-3. I like this a little bit better than the line Eaglin takes. Just personally think it's a little bit faster. All these guys electing to tuck to the inside and then roll, double, and triple into this whoop section. And then you can see Johnson 5th gear to the outside. This is the opportunity to pass into the race lead. We'll see how it comes out on the end of the split. Down the inside, it's bar to bar with his teammate into the tunnel jump. Who gets to drive off of it better? It's still pretty much side by side, but Johnson's going to get it better off the wall jump, and Johnson to the lead at the end of lap 2. So the 51 of Payson Johnson, pretty far down in the championship standings entering this one. Could actually help his teammate Eaglin out here if he really wanted to, but maybe they're just going to try to work together. No, Johnson down. Huge crash for the 51. Allows teammates to go by into the lead. Adam Holm into 3rd. Into 4th goes the 78 of Hubbard as Johnson rights the ship now behind Castellaneta on the 26. He's back into 6th place. So Chris Post 7th. Janice 8th. Lang up to 9th. Sullivan 10th. Seth Crotty runs 11th. Wilcox 12th. Carter now 13th. Haley 14th. Spencer 15th. Leclerc still down here. He's actually in 17th, excuse me. And the points leader has some work to do. Leclerc trying to work through the path, or the pack here very methodically. Everybody's still pretty close together, so this is an opportunity to make some quick passes, so long as you don't hit the ground. Everybody right on top of each other here. There's going to be some crashes. You got to try to avoid the downed riders. Some down riders, I think, in the split right here. Seeing some guys stacked up. Yeah, a couple guys off the track. Leclerc is going to pass into 14th right there. So a couple guys are down on the outside. I just want to see what Leclerc's lap time is in traffic. 28.1's pretty dang good in traffic, but let's see if he improves. 28.4, so a couple 28s. Haley just did a 28 flat. Carter just ahead of these guys. So the 1, the 2, and the 7 trying to work their way through the field right now. Meanwhile, back to the lead battle. Eagland dealing with pressure from Johan Bordeaux. So even if Leclerc doesn't get the win tonight, another French rider mounted aboard that Panini Motorsports Yamaha is trying to get it done. And it's interesting to see. I wonder where like any team orders would lay right here. I don't know that Panini is really too, connected, I guess, as a team, that this would be one of those things that Bordeaux would really try to help Eagland out. We see it with Phil's Honda over there. They let Carter by late in the main event last week. But maybe Bordeaux just tries to go around Eagland and go to the lead. Well, he's going to have a shot right here. He's going to pull up alongside of him into the whoops. Battle for the lead in Daytona. Bordeaux is going to control it into this corner. Eagland tries to fight back, but Bordeaux on this inside line should take it just fine. And indeed, Johan Bordeaux takes the lead at Daytona. So the crafty Frenchman who won the San Diego Supercross earlier this year on a 250 now takes the lead in Daytona, trying to win the 9th round of the championship in the 450 class, as he moonlights on the East Coast in his West Coast hiatus. But he just went down again up into the Davalos bales, so Eagland retakes the lead. Man, Eagland just trying to play this thing smart and not get caught up in any of the drama as his teammates continue to make mistakes. Seth Shirley has made it all the way up into 3rd place. So another 250 West rider right up in the mix. Adam Holm runs in 4th. Castellaneta. Here's Tyler Lang with Payson Johnson. Lang was 2nd fastest qualifier. Johnson was your fastest qualifier. And we've said it many times already tonight, but Lang, your reigning outdoor champion, so good laying into ruts and hitting these lines. Look at that. Going to make a pass here on Adam Holm. Try to go to the outside to get around Castellaneta as well. I'll just make it stick on Holm for now, but Holm dealing with the pressure from Johnson right behind him. Now Lang going to go 2-3 into this Supercross triple. And he's trying to pass his teammate Castellaneta there on the 26 for 5th place. Castellaneta goes inside, Lang outside triples. Triples again, carrying a little bit more speed into this whoop section. Let's see if he can get a drive to the outside here, make that pass. Castellaneta goes defensive on the inside, but Lang should have the line on exit right here, and indeed he does. That split section working out beautifully. Johnson trying to make a pass right there behind this group on Adam Holm. Look at Castellaneta too. Kind of split the difference between these guys. Cross jumps a little bit. Mistake right there off the side of the track. They're both going to go by him. Now Johnson versus Holm to this corner. They split to the outside. That's Johan Bordeaux. Bordeaux, who is in 2nd, now way back here with this group. And Johnson launching to flat, trying not to go down or get caught out by the moguls. Makes that pass stick on Adam Holm. So where is... Oh, our leader, Eagland, must have went down. He's back to 2nd. Seth Shirley leads in Daytona. So it's a 23 machine out front on that Boots House Yamaha, but now he slides out. Eagland's going to go back to the lead. Shirley remounts 2nd. Lang and Johnson are suddenly right there for the race lead. And I would say Lang and Johnson are 2 guys in this battle right now that really have the upper hand because they have been putting laps down very consistently. Eagland back to the front. Shirley now into 2nd. Lang trying to get down the inside of Shirley for that 2 spot. They're all going to get a better drive than Eagland, who cased the triple out. Eagland goes defensive on the inside. Shirley might have a shot at taking the lead back right here. Not close enough in the end, but boy, it's close. Front 4, you could throw a blanket over them as they all are in the air off the tunnel jump at the same time. Into the wall jump. There they all are. There's your front 4 right there. Eagland leads from Shirley, Lang, and Johnson. Look at this, Shirley. Oh my goodness, how did he pull that together? Can he still maybe make this pass for the lead? I think he thought about going down the inside, but backs out of the challenge. Oh, a little short right there. Got a tiny kick on landing. Oh, Johnson launching over the tunnel jump. Going to get around T-Lang right there to move into third place. Now Shirley goes inside, but Johnson's got a great drive around the outside, and here comes the 51 taking over second, and he's got it. So your fastest qualifier slingshots around the outside to get into second. Now trying to take the lead away from his teammate. Good line right here. This will be a good opportunity, but he's not going to hook that inside rut. He'll go inside right here, hook this inside rut, try to go 2-3 and get a run on Eaglin into the Supercross triple, but not close enough just yet. They're both going to try to tuck to this inside line. Johnson, lays into that rut so good. Thought he was a little bit hot on brakes, but just got it together right there. Now the drive and the whoops to the outside. Eaglin defensive on the inside. Johnson kind of slid the front end coming in. That might cost him a shot at the race lead. Yeah, not close enough just yet. Eaglin still holds on. Up and over the big tunnel jump. Johnson downsides it. And now into the wall jump. Seth Shirley still right there lurking. And over the finish line jump. The mover this lap. Johnson up 2 spots. And Lang and Shirley both losing 1 spots respectively. Gosh, nothing in it between our lead group, though, as Johnson just pushing Eaglin right now. You can see this front 4 just nose to tail. Look at this line, though, that Johnson has. Launches out into the moguls, trying to make the pass on his teammate, but Eaglin holds strong. That's Johnson's back pocket move right there. Nobody else seems to be able to land off that as smooth as Johnson. Now into the tough blocks off the side of the track. Here comes Shirley and Lang, both trying to pass him back. Shirley will get it done if he can get to the inside right here. Johnson trying to double to the outside and hold it on. But Shirley will make that pass. Now Lang tucks to the inside, trying to get Johnson out of this corner. But Johnson holds on for third. So Shirley back into second. They're still chasing Colby Eaglin. And we are finally past the halfway point of this race. Who is going to win the Daytona Supercross and MX Simulator? Seems like any one of these 4 guys could get it, or maybe somebody behind them, because it's still pretty close back there. Adam Holm is lurking. I know Leclerc and Carter are back there. But Eaglin leads the way around. 12 minutes down, 8 to go. Shirley trying to hold on. Johnson putting the pressure on for second again, though. So good downsiding that wall jump. Dooley's over the finish line jump. Can Shirley get a drive? No, he lands long and goes off the bike. So there goes Holm. Who else is going to go by? Anybody else? Yeah, there's Castellaneta. And there's Leclerc with Carter right on his heels. Shirley trying to stay ahead of Leclerc, but I think it's going to be a little bit too much there in the end, and Leclerc will go through. So Shirley, who was in that lead battle, goes down and loses 6 spots in the end. Back to the front, though. Eaglin versus Johnson. Johnson riding so strong right here, but obviously doesn't want to mess up his teammate too much. That's the opportunity right there. Eaglin runs it deep in the corner. Johnson to the lead, and then they get hung up in the corner, and Eaglin goes down. No, that's huge for Colby Eaglin. Lang goes by. Holm goes through. Eaglin remounts. He's still ahead of these guys. As Shirley comes in, he's now ahead of Leclerc. There's Carter. Looks like they have passed Castellaneta, but they still have Janice on the 14 right behind them. Who's down right there? That is Johnson. Oh, Payson Johnson down. T-Lang leads. Oh my goodness, what is happening? Tyler Lang to the front. Adam Holm in second. Seth Shirley third. Leclerc fourth. Carter fifth. And Eaglin, who is gaining a ton of points back on these guys, suddenly losing points again. Oh my goodness, Seth Shirley just crossed over in the split and took Carter down. Carter will pick it up first and continue on, but they both lost like 4 spots or so. Carter back to 8th now. Oh my goodness. All right, let's reset here for a minute. 14 minutes in, 6 minutes and a lap to go. Tyler Lang leads the Daytona Supercross, looking for his first win of 2022. Adam Holm looking for his first win in nearly 3 years, I think it is, for Adam Holm to get this Daytona Supercross victory. The Orlando native, close to home here in Florida, trying to get it done in second place. Leclerc has come from pretty much dead last to third on his Panini Motorsports, backed by Safe Moon Yamaha. And he's gaining points in the championship fight again. Johnson side by side with Eagland. Eagland now back ahead of Carter. Castellaneta, Bordeaux. Here's Carter trying to get to the inside of Bordeaux for a position. That one will stick. Uh-oh, Leclerc looks like he just went down. Remounts now behind Eagland and Johnson, and maybe Castellaneta going by. Castellaneta has to back out of the challenge. But Leclerc suddenly surrounded by riders when he was all by himself in third just a moment ago. Into the whoops. Leclerc a little bit, I think, more on top of the whoops than his counterparts there, but not quite close enough to make anything happen just yet. Back to the lead group again. Here's Lang. What is the gap at right now? Lang to Holm 5.7, and if you look at the map in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, you can almost see it. But Lang and Holm separated by about 6 seconds. Then it's a large gap of 11 back to Colby Eagland in third. So it's really between Lang or Holm, I think, for the win. Is Eagland very fortunate not to fall off the bike. Leclerc is off the bike. Not sure what just happened to the Frenchman, but he's down. And several riders going by. Wow, he just lost a lot of spots. Hubbard last man through. Leclerc back to 11th. Gosh, he was third just a lap ago. So Eagland goes to 4th, Castellaneta to 5th, Bordeaux to 6th, Carter to 7th, Hubbard 8th, Janis 9th, and Leclerc now back inside of the top 10, right there behind Carter. Got some stacking up going on ahead of these guys. Not sure if somebody went down in the corner, but you can see how rough this track is getting as we take a look from Leclerc's perspective here. Oh, cross jump with Hubbard! Wow, Leclerc very fortunate to stay on 2 wheels right there. He and Hubbard coming together. Now Leclerc trying to triple in. Case is hard, losing more positions. Leclerc slips back to 11th behind teammate Luke Sullivan, who's moved inside of the top 10. And we're going to have to go off Leclerc and check out what's going on ahead of these guys because the battle still pretty strong. You can see Carter now trying to close up on Bordeaux. They're still right behind Castellaneta. Eagland 4th. Johnson now up to 3rd, and he is going down off the bike. So how many positions will he lose? Here comes the pack. There goes Eagland, and that is going to be it. No, Castellaneta goes by too. Castellaneta short and down goes the 26 machine. Carter backing out of the quad right there. Now moves into 6th spot behind Johan Bordeaux. Leaders are gone. This is Lang's race to lose. The only person he really can lose it to is Holm. He just went down. Tyler Lang is down with the race lead. This is going to allow Holm to close right up behind the number 5 machine. He gets it going, but he's got to roll in, and Adam Holm is going to the lead in Daytona. Just over 2 minutes and a lap to go. It's Adam Holm versus Tyler Lang for the win at Daytona. Wow, moments after I said this is Lang's race to lose, quite literally loses it. But it's not over yet. 2 outdoor specialists, 2 guys. Arguably, Holm should have a 2018 Outdoor Championship on his mantle. He was 1 corner away from winning the 450 National Championship in 2018. Tyler Lang in the last round of 2020 able to get that done. So he is a 450 National Champion. But both of these guys arguably could be said a little bit more the outdoor specialist than indoors. But they both do actually have Supercross wins to their name as well. So this will not be a first, but it would be a huge win for both of them if they can get it done. Look at how deep that rut is getting into the corner. The braking bump is massive. So Lang checks in now behind him. You can see the timer in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. It looks like they'll be able to get another lap in next time through before it expires, but it'll be close. Lang really pushing the pace here on his underground RC Suzuki. Wants to get to Adam Holm. Holm made a little mistake right in front of him. And now it's nose to tail again. Neither rider got this section very clean, though. Up and over that Supercross triple. They got somebody right behind them, but it's a lapped rider. It's not for position. Yeah, it looks like Ethan Parks on the 147 machine behind these guys. Lang got a great drive right here. Holm kind of cased the triple just a little bit. Lang's going to go inside momentarily, takes the race lead, but Holm will get it back on the corner exit. That outside, or that rut on the inside of the exit of the switchbacks, though, is very deep. You can see Holm kind of double notching it. I wonder if that's why Lang changed up his line, but as we check in, 10 seconds were still left on the clock when they checked in out front, so there is 2 to go. Lang just made a mistake on landing, lost a little bit of ground. Adam Holm has a tiny bit of breathing room to work with here. The battle for the win is on at Daytona. Holm changes up his line right there. Doesn't take the main one out of the corner. Cuts down early. Still triples on off. No problem. And then this big bump into the corner. Lays it over. Lang is pushing, man. He wants this win bad. It's been a rough season for the number 5. Very much expected to contend for this championship, and it has not gone his way whatsoever. Holm retired from the sport for about 6-7 months, and this is kind of his return to the action here. So it's even good to see him battling for the win. But here we go. Lang to the outside, turns to the inside in the over-under. Tyler Lang takes the race lead. They're both down. They're both down after the tunnel. Payson Johnson is going to close up as they get up together. Lang gets up, retakes the lead. Holm jumps over top trying to take it back, but here comes Johnson. Oh, they could have fought it against each other, but Johnson suddenly has a shot at the win. White flag coming out this time by. Holm to the inside, trying to take the lead back. Not going to get it. Ann's going to get a terrible run to the whoops. Hopping a little bit. Johnson got a bad drive as well. Holm checks up, goes outside in, or I'm sorry, in and outside this time. Now up and over the tunnel, jumps side by side with Johnson. So Lang takes the white flag as the race leader, but 2 guys right behind him want this win just as bad. Who is going to get it done tonight in Daytona? Oh, these races have been absolutely insane. Doesn't look like there's any lap traffic as Johnson goes by to second. So no lap traffic to contend with. Johnson now into second place. It is a mano-a-mano race to try to win the main event here in Daytona. There's Johnson launching out to flat like he's been doing. Can Tyler Lang hold on for the win? Will Johnson and Lang get together and allow Holm to win this thing? Oh my gosh, the last lap is going to be insane. Half a lap to go at Daytona. Lang goes outside. Johnson tucks inside. Oh, he's right there. And he goes for the double over. Lang able to hold steady just for now. Now Johnson going to go outside. Triple in. Lang messed it up. Johnson messed it up. So Lang gets some breathing room. That might be the breathing room he needs. Gonna go outside just to play it safe here. Johnson tucks inside. Lang, one more drive through the whoops is all he really needs. He's got it. In and out of the switchback turns. Get this rut clean one more time. Downside the tunnel. Downside the wall jump. Johnson's trying it. He's gonna go for the send. No, he's not. He backs out of it. Oh, Lang got it sideways. Tyler Lang wins the Daytona Supercross by 0.2 of a second. Payson Johnson just missed it at the line. I thought he was going to send it off the wall. Eaglin ends up 3rd. Holm settles for 4th. And Carter comes all the way back. Looks like he will get 5th in this race. No, excuse me. Holm got 5th. Bordeaux was 4th. We missed Bordeaux getting 4th in that one. Carter going to pick up 6th. Castellaneta from Leclerc. Leclerc ends up in 8th. Janice will get 9th. And Shirley will round out the top 10. Luke Sullivan, Trevor Spencer, Jacob Hubbard, Chris Post, Casey Cochran, Trevor Burns, Thomas Wilcox, Daniel Mills, gonna get around him for 17th. I cannot even catch my breath right now. Caleb Hall, Seth Crotty, Jack Haley, and Ethan Parks run through the field right there at the end. What a race. Honestly, a little surprised Johnson didn't send the wall jump on the last lap. I'll tell you what though, 0.2 is not a lot. If Lang had one too many off-track excursion, this win can still go to Johnson in the end. And that would be Heartbreak City for Tyler Lang. We've got a couple riders still coming before cuts come in. And we'll see who officially wins the race here tonight in just a few moments. All right, final rider coming down. He's going to take the checkered flag in just a moment. And cuts confirmed. Tyler Lang wins the Daytona Supercross. It was actually Johnson who had 1.2 seconds of cuts in the end. So Johnson will end up second. Eagland gets third. Go a little further down, you find Carter gets sixth, Leclerc eighth, excuse me. Oh my goodness, what a race. All right, so officially Leclerc will pick up 15 points tonight. Carter will pick up 17. Eagland will pick up 21 to give us a little bit of a championship picture update. Whew. Let's go to our Race Factory page here and get a championship update right now. So this is what we were looking at right here is the top three in the championship. See if I can even zoom in and make it a little bit bigger. Nope, just makes them on the left side of the screen. So right here, Leclerc on 156, Carter on 151, Eagland on 140. Eagland goes now to 161. Carter goes to so Eagland to 161. I'm trying to do math here and it's just bad. 168 now for Carter. And Leclerc now at 181. So they're all separated now by 11 points. And Carter gained, it's now just a 3-point gap to Leclerc. Oh my goodness. Tyler Lang gets the win tonight though. Incredible. So now each of the top 5 in the championship have a win this season. Janet's the first man in there that doesn't have a race win. And I just cannot believe that race. I'm still catching my breath, okay? That race was absolutely insane. The 250 main was incredible as well. Massive shout out to all of you guys that tuned in live. I saw at one point we had like 530 something odd viewers watching live for that 450 main event, and I'm so glad you guys are here to catch one of the best races of the year, one of the better Supercross races I've ever had the chance to call in this game. So incredible action, and what a night here at Daytona. Wow. All right, round 9 of MotoOption Supercross is done. Big shout out, of course, to Race Factory Gaming for putting on the series. Head over to racefactorygaming.com if you want more information on this series or if you want to get involved in the amateur Supercross over there. Try out your luck in the Supercross racing that they have. Race Factory Gaming track crew, killer job on the track this week. Of course, big shout out to MotoOption Clothing, title sponsor of the series, and all the sponsors involved as well. Race Tech Suspension, Phil Ski and Snowboard, Underground RC, Two Wheelers Graphics. Look, I can just come to the site right here and name all of them because they have them laid out right here. We got Race Tech, we got MX Simulator, Phil Ski and Snowboard, Underground RC. Hey, that's us right there. OGL Paco on Twitch, MXS Lobby, TM Factory Racing, Motivated Films, everybody that helps out with the Race Factory. Thanks so much to them. And, of course, a big shout out to our Jerky for coming on board the broadcast with us this year. Thanks so much to them. And thanks so much to every single one of you guys that tune in every single week and watch these broadcasts. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show here tonight. And we'll be back next week, same time, same place for the Detroit Supercross, round 10 of MotoOption Supercross coming at you from the Motor City. And we'll see you guys then. So long for now.